no one's bigger than the club. So you got to accept what's going to happen and then try and get someone in his position who's going to do a decent job.
Meanwhile, Christian Romero's agreed personal terms to join Atletico Madrid, we understand. The Tottenham captain was sent off twice last season in Spurs' campaign to forget. And Jamie O'Hara says, good riddance.
Get rid of him. We've got better players now. He's a liability. Yeah. Van der Ven, make him captain. He's a player that you want in your side. You got Senesi, Van Hecke. Romero ain't even going to play.
Well, Van der Ven is set to sign a new contract with Spurs. It's going to be a 5-year deal. Elsewhere today, Ivan Toney has been charged with assault causing ABH at a London nightclub. The alleged incident happened in Soho in December last year. He will appear in court in late September. And Mexico have broken ranks with its regional body CONCACAF and have come out in support of Gianni Infantino. In a statement, they say they oppose any attempt to unseat Infantino without a full vote. This as UEFA continues to threaten a World Cup boycott. Former FIFA Vice President Jim Boyce say Infantino's values have changed significantly over the years.
I knew him very well, as you know, when he worked for UEFA. He was an ordinary, decent person, but power and ego just seems to have completely gone to his head, I think, from Qatar and following on to his relationship with Trump in America.
Norway have now come out and gone further than England, Wales, Croatia and Albania by explicitly calling for Infantino to resign. All your latest is at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
The number of migrants arrested for working illegally in the UK has more than doubled, and rail passengers in the Midlands and north of England face delays for the rest of the day. Sinead has more in half an hour.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. This summer, treat yourself to Bridgestone Turanza All-Season 6 tyres with a 25,000 mileage guarantee. Book today at quickfit.com. Conditions apply.
Cloudy skies for northern Scotland with outbreaks of rain through the day, light winds elsewhere, and it's feeling warm in the sunshine.
This is Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT, and I've decided I'm going to be taking on the weather, Andy.
Oh, yeah.
Like doing it in the style of Jamie O'Hara. Ain't rain for a month, ain't going to rain for another month. Grass is dead, flowers are dead, garden's dead, neighbours are dead. See how we get on with that.
I like it.
Except in Scotland where it is raining.
Yeah. Has anyone seen any rain? Jason comes with. Coming up over the next 3 hours, South American correspondent Tim Vickery joins us in the studio on a flying visit from Rio.
Oh, pardon?
Rio to discuss, among other things, FIFA, Vinny Jr., Bruno, Vizinha and Pato buying Northampton.
Yeah. Pato.
Oh, yes. And we'll chat to the men taking Rugby League to Ireland next year.
Yeah, 2 games of top-level Super League Rugby League off to Dublin. We'll tell you more about that later. We'll also look ahead to this weekend's Carabao Cup games. We'll bring you many live games here on talkSPORT. World champion boxer and Chelsea fan Darren Barker tells us why he's cycling and swimming from Edinburgh to Morocco in memory of the great Ricky Hatton.
There's all this plus the clips of the weekend. We'll look at today's big transfer stories all happening. So much still to happen.
Yeah, that's right. 4 minutes past 1. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Andy. We should get the request in early. Tim is going to be, he's a flying visit, as Andy said, to the UK Rio. And, yeah, he'll take any questions you have on players you've been linked with or players you've bought from South America. Not Central America, not North America.
Not Mexico.
Yeah, that's not, he'll give you straight back them. Don't know anything about them, not my region, but anything he can help with, I'm sure he will. So talksport.com/H&J. You can text to 81089. can tweet to TSH and J. We've got, as Andy just alluded to, we've got loads to cover with him, transfers and beyond. Anyway, what's going on, Andy?
Well, the two most inevitable things of the week.
Yeah.
Infantino not resigning and Vinny Jr. not leaving Madrid.
Yeah.
Neither of those things were ever going to happen, despite all the speculation.
It's been quite interesting because we had Perry Groves on. You were on that day, weren't you? Yeah, when Perry came on with us. Perry was saying, he was refreshing the page and he was all very confident and he thought it could have happened and you never know. And well, Tim Vickery will tell us he thought there was potentially something in it. But it's quite interesting.
I've seen that story before.
Arsenal fans, my acquaintance, have been saying to me today, "Oh no, we knew it was never going to happen. Oh no, we knew it was just we were kidding. Our producer hasn't slept for 3 days. Vinny
Look,
Jr.
it would have been very
He's been
exciting.
down the club shop, Vinny Jr. on the back of his shirt.
It used to happen a lot in the Abramovich years at Chelsea. You'd be linked with a player and and then suddenly he'd sign a new contract. That happened.
Yeah, obviously not enough money being paid under the counter to that player in question.
Well, very much.
They couldn't slip him
much so.
10 million into a secret Swiss bank account.
How dare you?
Which meant, how dare you? I think you find it's true, Andy.
Well,
yeah,
these things happen.
Talking of which, we got the director of a new documentary on Jose Mourinho coming into the studio next week. And we've got a sneak preview. I know you're going to try and watch it over the weekend. I've only watched one. You're going to love it. It's really the Chelsea story and how he comes in.
Yeah.
But it is a real insight into the guy. And you look at his ever the way, I mean, it made me realise once again just how ridiculous it was that he couldn't win anything at Tottenham.
No.
Tottenham is the only kind of blemish on his record. I mean, the difference was he wasn't given necessarily
It'll be
the
interesting to see
players
why
to win
he's
with.
not the Jose that he was. That's understandable. And let's see. But this seems to be a good incarnation. I mean, let's see what happens at Madrid.
Yeah.
It might really work.
I mean, it won't just be them. I mean, Vinicius Jr. could get money wherever he went. So the fact that he apparently has a good relationship with Mourinho has certainly helped him sign again, isn't it?
It's amazing that CAF have thanked Infantino for the support.
Yeah.
Not to mention the money, of course.
Yeah. What CAF was that?
The
Joe's CAF.
Joe's CAF, yeah.
That's right, yeah. Well, he always goes in there for double bubble and egg and a fried slice.
I was watching The Repair Shop this week.
Were you really?
There was a really brilliant piece on it. This guy called Michael Wise, he had an old seat from the Highbury Stadium.
Oh, okay.
That it was his grandfather's seat, and then he sat in it, and then in 2006, when the stadium disappeared, they bought the seats.
Yeah.
But they were completely wrecked, disrepair sort of thing. But
So
they restored them.
He bought lots of seats?
No, he bought the 2 seats.
Just the 2 seats?
Just his 2 seats that he'd sat in.
Yeah.
Him and his grandfather, or him and his father. And
the old metal ones.
Yeah.
Those ones.
Incredible, yeah. So they had to do all that and put them on a base and redo the seat. And
But do they
everything.
put them
Wonderful.
into the house?
Into
or
their
in the
house. They sit and watch the football in them.
In the seats?
In the seats, yeah. It was really moving.
Does one of them leave 10 minutes before the end? Cheerio, son, I want to beat the
seats-
traffic.
The seats made that noise. When they tipped up the old seats, they made that clicking noise. So they really like that. But I came up with, I love the show, and I came up with an idea, though. I think it's a good format. It's the Beyond Repair Shop, right? People bring their stuff like in the normal way. And me and Tom Skinner just say, well, no, it's Beyond Repair, and we just destroy it. And then we watch them crying as we destroy their property. What do you think? I think
Why
might catch
Tom
on.
Skinner?
Well, somebody like Bosch, somebody would give it a bit of a...
Right.
Me and him would give it a bit of a,
Okay. So the stuff that can't be repaired.
Yeah.
So is that the jeopardy on the repair shop from now on, that if they can't repair it, that you and Tom Skinner take a hammer to
the
it?
Beyond Repair Shop. I like it.
So they have no option to get it back again?
No, that's it.
Well, it was in my family for 50 years.
I know.
My late mother was very attached to it. And I've come back today hoping you've managed. And they go out the back and they just bring in this sort of old violin that you've taken a hammer to. I'd watch it.
I think it'd be good, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
I'll watch it, definitely. Tim Vickery going to join us shortly in the studio. I'm interested to get his take on how FIFA and what's happened there is being viewed in this part of the world.
I'll tell you what I did enjoy. Lancashire Cricket Club, County Cricket Club, have signed the fine Pakistani left-arm spinner, Noman. And I couldn't resist putting on their Twitter, hello, Noman. Nobody will know
did they get it?
No, one person retweeted it. He liked it. I don't mind.
We had
me happy.
We had a newsreader kind of briefly sail through here at talkSPORT. And what was it? Was it Andrew Newman or somebody Newman? His name was. And he came in and we said we haven't met before, and he said, hi, I'm he was quite a serious guy. He said, hi, I'm Andrew Newman, and Andy went, hello, Newman. unless you watch Seinfeld, it would mean absolutely nothing to you. And clearly, this guy had never watched Seinfeld.
No, not at all.
Talk about 1,000-yard stare. He gave you a right look,
I used to
didn't
see
he?
Kathy Newman on Times Radio. I used to say, hello, Newman. She didn't get it either.
Did you say it to her?
Well, I said it to myself.
Okay.
Front of her.
That's slightly different, isn't it?
I hope.
Getting the 1,000. If you've got some great 1,000-yard stare stories where you've tried that. I remember once trying to be clever when I was about very young, saying to somebody, "Oh, it's very picturesque." I don't know what made me say it. And
damn picturesque.
Yeah, damn picturesque. And then another one of those probably. Then she looked at me and she went, "I think you find the words picturesque." You got no way back from that, have you? Really?
No.
You can't say I know that.
No.
Okay, anyway, if you got some of those, talksport.com/H&J, text to 81089, tweet to TSH&J. Questions coming in. Such is the Brazilian name, such is the madness of the Brazilian name. You never quite know, do you? Because John in Altrincham has said, can you ask Tim what are the chances of Aston Villa signing Alan? Morning.
Well,
you'll be surprised. I mean, I wouldn't think he's up to playing 90 minutes in Villa Park.
No.
But we saw him earlier on, didn't we?
I mean, it looks great.
He's looking great.
It sounded great.
He's in fine fettle. He sounded good. He's looking
so good to hear him back on.
Yeah.
It was a lovely moment. I don't know if you saw on social media, a lovely moment when he left the studio on Wednesday and everybody outside sort of clapped him and Joe gave him a cake. You know, it was really sweet, actually. So I think genuine, you know.
Where's our cake?
No, we're not getting a cake.
Right.
I can't ever see us getting a cake.
I need you to get ill, Andy. I want a cake.
Oh, for goodness sake.
I want a cake. I want a cake. Not a cake. I can't do the whole show like Jamie.
Not really, no.
Anyway, I've got to stop doing that. It really hurts your voice. I don't know how he does it for 3 hours, especially that time of night. Tim Vickery is going to join us. Any questions? talksport.com/H&J. Text to 81089. Tweet to TSH&J. Darren Barker, fellow Chelsea fan, Andy, will be joining us later on. He's taking on a monumental challenge to cycle and swim from Edinburgh to Morocco, for goodness sake, but for a great cause in memory of Ricky Hatton. He'll tell us more about that. Susie Perry's going to join us for a bit of MotoGP chat and a bit of Wolves chat as well, ahead of their forthcoming season in the Championship. We'll have some other transfer news beyond South America. We'll have some clips of the week featuring a little cameo from Big Alan. And yet Rugby League goes to Ireland next year, being played in Dublin. And the instigators of that, Carl Fitzpatrick and Chris Radlinski, the CEOs of Warrington Wolves and Wigan Warriors, are going to join us for a chat. Mickey Gray on the Carabao Cup. We've got loads of live football for you this weekend. It's a very good idea, this. They haven't always done this. Is this the first time they've kind of handed over this weekend of football to the Carabao Cup?
It's a good idea,
It's
isn't
a great shop window for it, and there's games were meaning when probably they would be playing lots of pre-season friendlies and having to squeeze it in midweek.
So the only problem with this, if you go out the cup, before the season's even started, it's a bit depressing, isn't it?
Was it Bristol Rovers lost last night, wasn't it? Yeah. Anyway, that's all to come. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Tim Vickery joining us in a few moments' time. talksport.com, text 81089, tweet TSH&J, TSH&J to get in touch. TSHANDJ. Tim is here.
I'm just off to have a transplant so you can have a cake.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, that's the least you can do after 25 years. We're here with Tool Station. First stop, Tool Station.
But the Vinny Jr. one was a audacious attempt, to say the least.
Big word for you.
I've been learning this book that I've been reading. They've got these big words in. I'm trying to keep them in my brain. No, but it was always going to be tough shit, man. Like Vinny Jr. leaving Real Madrid to come to Arsenal, it just doesn't sound right. As Arsenal fans might get angry, I'll say it, but like, imagine Neymar Jr. at Barcelona. He's not going to leave Barcelona for Arsenal. They're always going to come to an agreement. Real Madrid aren't going to let a talent like that at 26. Do you know what I mean? What's he worth on the market? I know he's got a year left, but what's he worth, Vinny Jr.? Over 100 million easily. Real Madrid are never going to let that go. And Vinny Jr. in his mind won't want to leave Real Madrid. Imagine the crowds in Brazil, the people that love Vinny Jr. because he plays for Real Madrid. I just can't see it.
Well, that is interesting because it was my understanding that it was if he wanted to leave Real Madrid. There's never been a he wants to leave Real Madrid.
He's not said it, has he?
He's looking for the right offer. He's looking at Mbappe going, can I get money close to that? Can I get a deal close to that?
Of course.
And if they're not going to give me what I deserve, then yes, I would be interested in what Mikel Arteta is doing. And don't get me wrong, Arsenal are a massive club and they are on the verge of winning the Champions League. They're looking to go back-to-back Premier League champions. They absolutely can, right? They can. So, and I think he would get them over the line, but he's Vinicius Jr.
And then it comes to Bruno Guimaraes! Brilliant hit into the corner! Past the despairing dive of Vicario. It's a goal that's been coming. It's a goal that Newcastle deserve.
Oh, and they've given it away again. Vinicius Junior, it's two. It's another Scotland nightmare.
Running towards Bruno Guimaraes is a brilliant header and a brilliant goal. And Bruno Guimaraes just peels off the defender.
Vinicius through a goal, fires it into the bottom right-hand corner. And it's the same celebration down by the corner flag.
Yes, time to talk South American football. On a flying visit from Rio is our South American correspondent, Tim Vickery. Good to see you, Tim.
Lovely to be here. How are you, mate?
You often complain about the cold when you come back home, but you can't this time, can you? You're going to in for a heat wave next week.
I just come in from Greece yesterday, and like flying over England, it looks like Greece. Yeah. It's all yellow.
It's all yellow. It's Coldplay one.
Where is
the green and pleasant land?
Indeed, yeah. Where was it Dennis Follows? Was it, the Special Minister for Droughts?
Oh, wow.
No, Dennis Howe.
Was it Dennis
Howe? It was Dennis
sure?
Howe.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure it was
Dennis Howe.
He used to be a referee.
Well, let's focus on that.
He was a football referee, and then he became the Minister for Drought.
Let's have a look.
I'm going completely mad.
Dennis Howe was appointed the Minister for Drought in August. Good. What, Andy? What about that? Still sharp as a tack, despite his advancing years. Well, let's move on from Dennis Howe and the drought of 1976.
Should we go to the Bedford Twins?
Yeah. Let's do an hour on the Bedford Twins. Where should we start? Let's start with FIFA. We've had the governing body in South American football, CONMEBOL, say today that they're not particularly happy with what they've seen from Infantino. Yet, breaking rank, Argentina, their FA, are very much in support of
what a
Infantino.
surprise.
So, what's the mood over there with the football people you speak to?
Right, specifically, South America want a 64-team World Cup for the next one. Long term, they're not bothered. 48's good for South America.
Yeah.
10 nations, only got 10 votes. 6 qualify, the 7th goes into a playoff. Any more qualify, and qualification is hardly worth doing, is it?
Yeah.
So 48 normally is good for them. Not good for 2030. Why? 2030 is a centenary. Started in Uruguay, 1930. And they thought they were going to get it, a joint South American bid. They thought they were going to get it. They got fobbed off because it's gone to Spain, Portugal and Morocco. But they got fobbed off with a game each. So there's one game in Argentina, one game in Uruguay, and one game in Paraguay. Now, this is insane. This is madness.
It's madness.
As Andy well knows, in June, July, possibly in Paraguay, certainly in Uruguay and Argentina, it's like walking in a fridge.
Yeah,
it is not like walking in a fridge in Spain, Morocco and Portugal in June and July. There will be a difference of more than 30 degrees between these two places. Anyway, South America got their nose out of joint because they've got to improve their one stadium and improve infrastructure for one game.
Yeah.
So they have pushed. The idea of 64 came from them. We want 64 in 2030. Then we can have more games and then we can spread the costs over more games. So that's been their push. So how are they going to get it? Who are they going to get it from? And Infantino was all on for this, especially after 48 wasn't a disaster. Are they going to get anything from Europe? Is anyone going to get anything from Europe? This is the dilemma that world football faces at the moment. Europe has 55 of the 211 associations. It's one nation, one vote. The other associations, Africa, for example, they're all looking around thinking, well, for all of these, he's just slipped up. We might well get more out of Infantino than we get out of UEFA. And what UEFA have failed to do so far is turn protest into a project that has something to offer the rest of the world. Because Europe has been closing in it, and Europe already contains almost all the best club sides in the world and most of the best national teams in the world, with the club sides having all the best players from the far-flung corners of the world. And it's closed in upon itself, the Nations League. Nations League's a real problem for the other national teams because they want to play friendlies against Europe. They can't do it. In the cycle from Qatar to this recent World Cup, you couldn't have games. South America couldn't play Europe until March. 3.5 years without any games. So that's where it is at the moment. They're looking around thinking, well, Infantino's the devil we know. We can get stuff out of him. A Europe-dominated FIFA, there might not be anything in it for us.
It's amazing. It's never about quality. It's always about quantity. It's never about player welfare. It's just about money.
That's it.
Which is really sad, but that is the way it is.
It's a hit. Yeah. Don't give me that do goody good, and we won't go.
No.
The lyrics of that song.
Argentina, as we saw yesterday, have dedicated a day to their many football teams, men's, women's, junior, kickabouts in the park. And it just so happens to be on the day that they beat England in the World Cup. Still trolling us, they are.
Yeah, what a way to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat.
Yeah.
Because, as you saw, they don't really take defeat very well. It's very, very traumatic for them. So the dust has settled a little bit now. What good we could say? We put one across them lot, didn't we? We put one across them lot. Let's celebrate that.
The way it's, you have friends in Argentina, the way they perceived the final and what happened and the way we perceive it, it's so different. They just don't think they did anything wrong. They thought it was very heroic that they got to the final. All these different ways of looking at it. You think, hello? But that's the way they see it.
An academic, you might have seen it was on social media. An academic, I think, in this country, a sort of expert on that region, was saying there's a bit of a cultural thing about giving in or admitting that you kind of got stuff wrong is a sign of weakness. Is that true?
But also, think of Paraguay, because Paraguay got a lot of flack for what they did against France. And Paraguay, France's previous game was against Sweden. Now, Sweden have got Isak, they've got Gyökeres, they've got Bergvall, and they just laid down and let their tummy get tickled and lost 3-0. And Paraguay would have been watching that and thinking, you know what disgrace is? Yeah. That is disgrace. We ain't doing that. And So they're going to
We'll go down fighting.
Yeah. And that it is seen as heroic. I found myself, because I do Brazilian media and so on, I found myself caught in a cultural crossfire, more intense than any I've ever been caught in on this issue with the World Cup. Because on one side, I'm getting English people saying, you're defending what they're doing, On the other hand, I'm getting South Americans saying, you're attacking you colonialist piece of filth, and I think, God almighty,
Well, so we're going to talk transfers and stuff in a minute, but what's the mood in Brazil post the World Cup now the dust has settled a bit? On Ancelotti, on how well they did in the tournament?
Well, the main driver for the football fanatic is always the club game. A lot of the people, like my wife, for example, they're World Cup fans and not great football fans, and that extends to a lot of the population. I think it's 36% was a recent poll. 36% are really, really into club football, but they are fanatics about it. So club football started straight afterwards, and a lot of people were relieved about that. But the national team was obviously hugely, hugely important. Ancelotti flew back. He went to Canada. He's married to a Canadian, so he went to Canada after the World Cup. That didn't go down very well.
Right.
He came back and he's so good at public
Did
relations.
they want him to turn up for a post-mortem press conference?
Well, you have to go through the ritual humiliation.
Yeah.
You have to.
He did get quite a lot wrong though in terms of selection. They were massive disappointment, weren't they?
You know what he said? He came back and he did lots of media, which is good. And he said, you know what? I got it wrong.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he admitted it.
He's very, very good at PR. He's really good at it. And it was, the substitution he made when he brought Neymar on and so on. And he made some adjusts in his team. And he said, bad substitution. I lost control of the game. So he blamed himself without blaming the players that he brought on or moved around, which was good. That helps. What he wants to do now, it's a long-term project. He says we don't have enough of the ball because we don't have many top-class midfielders. Look at Spain. Look at the midfielders they have. Brazil don't have any. So the priority over the next few years is going to be bringing on some new midfielders. What I find interesting with this is that you never really think of Ancelotti as a long-term planner. You think of him, like if you compare him to, shall I compare thee to a doctor?
Yeah.
You think of him as someone who turns up with a Band-Aid and says, you know where I'm going to put that Band-Aid? I'm going to put it right there, in the right place. You don't think of him conducting extensive surgery. And now, Brazil haven't got a great deal to do in the next 4 years. What they need is extensive surgery. But he said, because he could have jumped ship. He could have taken he could have taken the Italian job, but I think Mr. Bridger wanted that one, so he couldn't have that one. Perhaps Camp Freddy. He's all in. He's going to do it, but he's going to come under pressure now, the like of which he's never faced in his life. And it's also, you think of his skill set and you think, is he the right man for extensive long-term planning and surgery?
Tim Vicker is with us. We're going to talk about Bruno Guimaraes and Vinny Jr. and other matters besides Vozinha and his incredible reception that he got in Chile. A little bit of breaking news. Manchester City have rejected the initial offer from Barcelona for Rodri. Ben Jacobs was telling us yesterday they want about 50 million. He's only got a year left on his contract, but that has really ceased to become a thing, because if you want the player and to stop anybody else getting him, you have to pay a premium.
Other people
for
want
it.
him, so I suppose you will have to pay. They won't pay 50 million for him.
Anyway, more on that. Christian Romero, other matters besides with Tim Vickery. Keep your questions coming in. We've got a few coming in. Talksport.com, text 81089, tweet TS at H&J.
Your thoughts on Vinicius Jr. then, Arsenal losing out in that. Were you hopeful or were you doubtful?
Do you know what? I was a little bit in the middle, really. I thought, look, he's a player that would be certainly improve Arsenal. There's no doubt about that. He's got so much talent. But also, he's at Real Madrid, like Andy Townsend said. Why would you want to leave Real Madrid, as Andy says? But whether he wanted a different change of lifestyle and whatever, whether he wanted to go to London, I don't know. But I think what he's done, he's played the market, isn't he? So he's gone, right, we know Arsenal are interested. His agent's probably going to Real Madrid. Well, Arsenal, we're thinking about going to Arsenal, and they've panicked a little bit. Probably got an unbelievable deal now, 6-year contract, and he's gone right. Okay, yeah, I'll stay then.
Yeah.
Done. And so he's played both sides really, which a lot of agents do, a lot of players do as well. But I was always 50-50 really. If he comes to the club, great. But if he doesn't, it's not the end of the world.
Absolutely, you move on from it. I mean, it's absolutely dead now. He is staying at Real Madrid for 6 years, as you mentioned. But, how important was that to get that idea that Arsenal were starting to flirt with world-class players, with somebody who would be a marquee signing?
You've got to do that. You've got to do that.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, no, you've got to do that.
They've done it. The champions got a final. Why wouldn't you?
And the club's in a really good position at the moment with finances and whatever. I mean, Josh Kroenke's really, really stepped it up another level really now and he trusts the manager Arteta to say, right, we're going to really go with him and see what he needs.
Tim Vickery, South American correspondent, is in the UK and he's popped in to see us today. And we're going to talk now about Vinicius Junior. And kind of unsurprisingly, really, he has signed a new contract at Real Madrid. But Tim, we were just chatting off air before the show, and you thought there could have been a potential move to Arsenal. It could have been on.
Well, obviously my sympathies are down the other end of Seven Sisters Road.
Mm-hmm.
But even so, I just thought, well, maybe. And I wonder if he'll come to regret it, because there's two things that he hasn't moved away from.
Mm-hmm.
One is Kylian Mbappe.
Yeah.
And the other is the situation of racism in Spain.
True.
Wasn't going to get any of that at Arsenal. And just the idea of, because I think Arsenal are probably the biggest club not to have won the Champions League. The idea of being part of a team who could break that one, it just struck me as being a more solid, more viable version of Neymar leaving Barcelona to go to PSG. But you know, I mean, I was on with the station with Carlton Cole a few days ago, and he was emphatic. He said, it's not happening. No way you're going to leave me at Real Madrid. No
Players
way.
don't do that.
No
Players
way.
generally don't, do
Yeah,
they?
yeah. But there you go. Neymar did left Barcelona and probably regretted it. You know, I don't think it turned out to be a good move. But I could just see how it could have worked, and it would have worried me. And from a kind of neutral perspective, and without any anti-Arsenal sentiment, really, because I think aren't we beginning to see Arsenal become kind of London FC? You know, the children of Tottenham fans and West Ham fans and becoming Arsenal fans.
No, it's
don't think so.
No, not really. I mean, look, Arsenal had a long time in the wilderness. Now it's their time. I just think it's like that, isn't it?
You think it's cyclical?
Well, it is cyclical. Of course it is. I mean, but it's going to, you know, this current thing with Arsenal, they're not going to fall away, are they?
No,
they're
of
going to
course
go on and if they add the right players, they've got a great chance to win the
I
Champions.
mean, we're City in a bit of flux at the moment, and the Rodri stuff going on.
That would really affect City.
Yeah, you
never
feel
the
they will.
same
They'll have a very good season next season.
You know, and the way the Premier League is with new managers and new players and all that, you've got to think Arsenal dominate this year, but it won't be forever.
You see, Bruno was a good fit for them. I think most people do.
Yeah, I don't. I'm sometimes a little bit undecided on him. I think he's obviously very, very good, but I don't think he's great. For a long time, I used to watch him in Brazil when he played for Atletico Paranaense. And for a long time, I thought, this player is really, really underrated. And then suddenly, he got in the spotlight, and I started thinking, I think he's a bit overrated now. He's obviously extremely good. And you can see him having a good partnership there with Declan Rice. It's obviously the right move for him to make, isn't it? The Newcastle thing
English football
has
suits
run
him.
aground. It does.
He looked better for Newcastle than he did for Brazil.
Right. Yeah. Yes. So I know I was on the station with Andy Brassel, who covers Newcastle a lot, sympathies, and he doesn't think that Bruno is a massive upgrade on what they've already got. And I think he'll give them very, very good surface. I mean, he's a terrific competitor as well.
Well, that's right.
I think he's quite top draw.
We were chatting to Perry Grozer, and he does give him a bit of dog. And great Arsenal teams have always had a player like that, haven't they? They haven't really had that since.
Arsenal for us, I mean, Peter Storey and David Price.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell the younger generation. David Hillier, you know.
But they've always had players that you know, were up for it, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that will make a big difference.
Good point. Good point well made.
Christian Romero, Jamie O'Hara was on breakfast this morning saying he's had enough of him, let him go, which I completely agree with. Then he said we could let him go to Arsenal. Well, with 4 years in his contract, unlike Sol Campbell, who went on a free and they had no control over, that's not going to happen.
No.
Not in a million years.
He just belongs at
Atletico Madrid. He does.
It's been a massive disappointment to me. He cost Tottenham £42 million. He's probably going to go for half of that with 4 years left on his contract as a double World Cup winner. So in the economics of football, that doesn't make any sense.
No.
But maybe there's a bit of buyer beware. Or that we know his record internationally, disciplinary-wise, is exemplary. He's never got a red card for Argentina. Yeah, he's an absolute nightmare in terms of injury and discipline for Tottenham.
Yeah, you wonder how much his heart was really in it, certainly towards the end. I mean, it was here on this very show that I told you that he was going to be in the stadium for watching Belgrano of Cordoba and not the last game of Tottenham. And you kicked off about it, and it kicked up
Paul
such
wore
a
a
fuss.
River Plate shirt, and I sent it to the vice president of River, and he put it on. You went viral.
It went viral in Argentina, apparently, in Buenos Aires.
And in the end, he was forced back, but I don't think he really wanted to be in London.
Well, according to Roberto De Zerbi, the plan was for him always to come back, but I don't know what the Italian Ficini reckon is, but we'll see. How do you feel about it? You do have Tottenham sympathies as well. I just this feels right. He's got to go. I think they've got to cut their losses. And
I agree.
It feels right. I think he got fed up and playing in a quite terrible team with a chairman that wasn't promising maybe what he could have delivered.
Especially as it looks like Tottenham are going to secure Van der Ven. You know, to lose the pair of them.
Yeah.
I remember I haven't seen Tottenham in the stadium for a long, long time, and it was still during towards the start of the Postecoglou era when things were still going well. And I remember, I think I was in here saying to you, it's a tightrope. It's a tightrope, and it's all based on Romero and Van der Ven. They've got so much responsibility on them. And it worked for a while until it didn't, until that game against
Chelsea.
Andy Jacobs.
Yeah, and
What's
then
happening to
and that was the end
What's
of that.
happening with Savinho? Was he supposed to be going?
No, it's an ongoing. I'm quite sick of the whole thing, really.
It's a lot of money, isn't it? For
it's a
someone
lot of
who-
money for basically
M product.
He's Taylor Odebert. He's the same player. He's the same player who can dribble a bit.
I
looks
expected
up,
more of him.
No
I
end product.
thought there, and maybe there is something to be unlocked, but I'm not sure I'd pay the amount that.
No.
that they're
I suppose you've got to trust the manager. He's seeing something we don't. He's a player he wants. We'll see if City are prepared to do business. Kawa Elias. He played. I've probably pronounced that completely wrong.
Never heard of him.
He's playing for Shakhtar. He did play for Fluminense for a couple of years. 20-year-old. And he's now being linked to Manchester United and Arsenal. He's a young. I think is he a striker?
He's a striker.
Left-footed,
Hat trick. So
That's
he-
right. So a striker.
I saw him maybe 2 or 3 times for Fluminense. He's part of a whole generation who are all called variations on Cohen.
All right. Where did that come from?
I really don't know. I was asking my wife about this a few months ago. Why is it? Was there a soap opera character with this name? If you got a kid and you want to sell him to the international market, don't call him Cohen. It's almost impossible to pronounce. You know.
So
there's not.
He's been made his name in Shakhtar by the same in Ukraine, or for playing for a Ukraine.
That's a well-trodden route for Brazil.
It is, yeah.
Question coming in from Johnny Altringham about Alan from Palmeiras. He's interested to know what are the chances of him signing for Villa, and is he any good?
Yeah, he's and Villa have had is it 30 million euros rejected.
Wow, okay.
They see him, I think, as Morgan Rogers in that. Or he's 22, so you might say he was a late developer, but his problem was Estevan, because he played same club, same position, wide right, left-footed. Rangy, quick, can get to the byline, can use his right foot. But he's got a really good coach at Palmeiras, and in recent times he's been cutting infield and making the extra man in midfield, and he's quite clever as well. So I think there's a player there. But Palmeiras don't need to sell, and they are saying we ain't selling. So it's up to Villa. If Villa can offer an amount of money and make an offer that they can't refuse, but if not, then Palmeiras don't want to sell him.
He does the breakfast show on Brazilian talkSPORT.
Morning. I'm sure he does. Yeah,
Rayan was a good signing, wasn't he?
Fantastic signing.
Yeah, but he's still going to stay at Bournemouth, which is right because he only.
Yeah, but they're going to sell him, and that was part of the whole thing to start with, and he knew it. You know, he knew he chose well. He was going to a club
for English football. He's got real power about him.
One player who's got to dust himself down for the new season is the Leicester spotted Igor Thiago, who missed one header in the opening Brazil game and was basically not seen again. I mean, has he been getting sort of stick over in Brazil?
The whole thing got stick right from the start. I mean, they hate this. They hate it. The idea of getting in a Brazil side from nowhere, you know. And he went, was it Bulgaria, Belgium, Brentford?
And see, we'd see that as a kind of a good news, feel-good story, but in Brazil, it's.
I couldn't believe they didn't pick Pedro. I thought that was he had a great season.
Yeah, but that was Neymar. That was Neymar that kept him out, which I think Ancelotti's probably regretting.
Yeah.
So Igor Thiago, he was on a hide into nothing. He missed the one chance, but it was mad that he played that game. It was another mess up from Ancelotti, and so I would blame the coach much more than him.
Bruno Alves has signed for Norwich. Phil asked the question. What are they getting?
Is this the São Paulo centre back?
I think it. Let's have a look. Hang on, is he Portuguese?
Well, it's a very common name.
He's Portuguese. We can't help you there.
Can't
Phil.
help you.
You're in the wrong.
I don't even understand what they say. They speak without opening their mouths. The Portuguese.
That's one thing people don't. Tim often says when Portuguese people come to Brazil, you can't understand them.
No, sometimes they have subtitles. If the coaches are Portuguese, there's subtitles.
No.
Yeah, they don't open their mouths.
It's the same language, Tim, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but a lot of the vocabulary is different.
Right.
The word for shirts is different. The word for a goal is different, not radically different. The word for fan is different. The word for pitch is different. It's basically a different language.
So if you spoke a very basic football vocabulary, you'd be struck. That was all you dealt in. You would have problems. Vizinha, the Cape Verde goalkeeper, one of the great positive World Cup stories, has gone to Colo Colo, hasn't he?
Yeah,
and,
in Chile. Yeah.
And they absolutely love him. They all met him at the airport.
And he's allowed to have Vizina on his back, which is against Chile.
Indeed, yes.
Wow.
Special dispensation. Yeah.
A lovely story.
It's a touch of celebrity, isn't it? I fear they might end up being a little bit disappointed with what they get. You know, one of those World Cup signings.
That's always a mistake.
But yeah, it gives you two great moments of joy. One when you buy him and one when you get rid of him. We shall see. We shall see. I have my doubts. I thought you got a little bit lucky time and time again in the World Cup.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah. This is one of the most bizarre story of the day. I don't know if you can shed any light on it. I can't see why you would. Alexandre Pato, of course.
Yes.
The former Brazilian footballer, is close to agreeing to buy a major stake in Northampton Town.
It was after he used
had a little spell at
Corby
Chelsea.
trouser press.
I think that's probably what it is. But he did have a little spell at your place. Not a particularly memorable one, was it, Andy?
No, not particularly. No, he was a bit frustrating, wasn't he?
But I think he has developed a
And I think they see the same potential in these clubs. You put enough money into
and make a documentary.
Yeah. It's almost like documentary is the whole justification of it. You know,
Is there going to be a documentary on this?
I don't know. I just at the moment, I don't know. Maybe he just wants to buy into the world of football. But it does seem. How long was he at Chelsea? It wasn't there long, was
No,
he?
not long.
6 months.
Not long.
Yeah.
He never got
look in.
Well, Tim, lovely to see you.
Lovely to be here.
All the best to your mum. You come over to see your mum, haven't you?
Yeah, and I've got a stepdaughter who's just moved over as well.
Oh, okay.
Just moved over to Oxford, so I was there.
She enjoying life in this
Yeah, she doesn't speak much English so far.
Right.
But yeah,
She's a bold move from her to do.
Well, she's married a Belgian guy who lives there. And at the moment, her method of studying English means she's a bit ashamed to say it in front of people. So she goes off to a field and says things on her own. And I'm a bit worried she's going to pick up the accent of the squirrels.
She'll talk to the animals. Strange. Yeah. So okay, we'll catch up with you. How long are you here for?
I'm off to Rome, roaming around on Tuesday.
Beautiful.
Then back to Brazil the following Sunday.
Well, we'll catch up. We'll catch up with you next week.
Look forward to it.
Thank you, Tim.
Cheers.
Really appreciate you coming in.
Pleasure.
Excellent South American correspondent Tim Vickery. Thanks for your questions as well. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Darren Barker, Chelsea fan, world champion boxer, tells us why he's about to embark on a cycle and swim to Morocco from Edinburgh. We're here with Tool Station. Only got time for one stop. First stop, Tool Station.
No smoke without fire. Of course not. He is interested in the Arsenal project.
Arsenal
if he's to leave Real Madrid.
Arsenal going for Vinny Jr. is like me sending Rihanna a message on Instagram saying that I'd love you to come to the Bullring in Birmingham. I want to take you around Birmingham on a date. Like, it's not going to happen. Like, he's not leaving Real Madrid to come to Arsenal, one league title in over 20 years, can't win a Champions League in their whole existence. He's not going to come to Arsenal. He's used Arsenal to get an extra 5, 6, 7, 8 million pound a year, and he's going to sign a new contract at Arsenal. Sign a new contract at Real Madrid. Simple. What he's doing. Arsenal have been used.
Did you ever shoot your shot with Rihanna though? Did you ever do it?
I might have. Yeah, I might have. That's private business. I might have.
But the point is, we know that Arsenal have made a go at Vinicius Junior, so they've tried.
And maybe I tried, and it didn't work out.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, but it's not going to work out. It's not going to work out for Arsenal, is it?
You make me cringe.
No, one league title in over 20 years. Never won the Champions League. Can't sit at the big table of the Champions League winning clubs like Villa, Nottingham Forest, Celtic. And you think you're going to go and sign Vinny Jr., the fan base that Vinny Jr.'s got in South America because he plays for Real Madrid.
It's not.
Rodri's doing everything he can probably to get out of Manchester City to go to Real Madrid. Haaland will go to Real Madrid at some point in his career.
It's not dead yet.
Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Now, Darren Barker, the former middleweight champion of the world, is about to embark on an epic journey, swimming and cycling from Edinburgh to Morocco. He's doing it, obviously, for charity. He's doing it for the campaign against living miserably. That's calm, and he's doing it in memory of someone he interviewed only a few days before his passing, and that was the great Ricky Hatton. And Darren joins us now. Hello, Darren.
How are you, lads?
Yeah, we're good. Thank you. This is a heck of a challenge, but as I said, it comes from the point where you had a sit down shortly before he died, Ricky, and had a proper conversation with him. You said more troubling. You wouldn't have noticed. You wouldn't have thought Ricky was struggling at that time. It was just a regular conversation with him.
No, I mean, he was just perfectly Ricky Hatton. He was charming, funny, welcoming. And it just completely took me by surprise and made me realise how important it is that we make as much noise as we can around mental health. And I owe this to Ricky. Look, he gave up his time to speak to me once, an ambassador for, and he said, whilst I'm here, I want to help as many people as I can. And I want to continue that for Ricky, you know. It's so important that we all get talking. Strength isn't silence. Strength is speaking. And that's what I want to do, you know, with every mile and every stroke that I take. If I can encourage somebody who's having a tough time just to pick up that phone and have that difficult conversation, then this will all be worthwhile.
You admitted yourself, I saw a piece with Ollie Downs Jr. in The Sun today, that you had your own struggles when you finished boxing. It's a tough sport. It's so regimented. You're always fit. You've got that endorphin rush constantly, and suddenly
camaraderie in the gym.
Exactly, that goes, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, look, I achieved my life's work at 31.
Yeah.
And then this, you know, now what? And this is all sports, you know, men and women. You lose that identity, structure, goals. And I'm very competitive and, you know, I need goals. So, you know, I completely lost myself. Didn't know where I was going, what I was doing and where I was heading. And, you know, I think I've found what I want to do now. I want to try and help as many people as I possibly can. And, you know, wave the flag, fly the flag rather, and get people talking. You know, this is something we can all do together. You know, and it's just the challenge that I've taken on is my speaker, if you like. It's just that's my way of trying to get people's attention. You know, like I say, strength isn't getting on a bike or swimming. All of that, what I'm doing is, you know, secondary. It's about people understanding that there are places to go, people to talk to, and I want to get that out there so people understand.
Of course, all that exercise is good for depression as well. So you got a double.
Absolutely,
yeah.
There.
And so tell us, the first leg, Edinburgh to Dover, which you're cycling. Then you're going to swim across the Channel. Then back on the bike, France and Spain to Gibraltar. And then another 9-mile swim to Morocco. Is that right?
Yeah, easy.
That is hard.
Are you a decent swimmer already, Darren, or you've been having lessons?
I'll tell you this, right? I did a bit of swimming for my last 2 training camps as a boxer, and it was a bit of a horror show. And so was my first swim on February the 13th. I was all over the place. I was doing breaststroke, front crawl, butterfly, anything I could do to stay afloat. But I've got better now. You know, I'm understanding the efficiency and getting through the water. My cycling's improved. And look, this isn't a race. You know, I'm doing 100 miles a day. I will get across the English Channel. There's 3 of us doing it. It's a relay, so it'll be an official channel crossing. And then I finish with the solo attempt to Morocco. You know, it's been brilliant for me. You know, it's been brilliant for me, both mentally and physically, getting back in shape. And I think this whole process has made me understand I need to deal with my own, you know, issues that I've got going on, and it's been a real eye opener. But you know, you mentioned it there. Anybody that wants to join me on that leg down the UK from Edinburgh to Dover, please do. I want to try and think Forrest Gump. I want to get a load of people following me. You know, let's get together, let's talk, let's have a chinwag, let's share our stories. And I really want to build a bit of momentum down to Dover.
When do you set up?
Yeah, I was just going to start. When do you start? Yeah.
19th of August. So I'll set off on the 18th and I'll start my way down on August 19th. I've got loads of chafing cream, all sorts of stuff to help me get through this as painful as possible. But I'm looking forward to it. And like I say, the message is about spreading this awareness, all being there for one another. We've got each other's back. There is someone there for you. There's people there that can help. And that's the message I want to get across over the next 3.5, 4 weeks.
And is there a place people can go and support you?
There is, yeah. Like I say, all the money's going to go to Calm, a fantastic charity that Ricky was once an ambassador for, and it's the longest round challenge. It's on Just Giving. Any help would be much appreciated. It's going to a great place, and it will be used really well.
Well, we'll put a link out on our Twitter feed as well.
Thanks,
a
Jess.
little bit later on.
Brilliant.
Quick one on AJ and Fury. How are you seeing it as we get ever closer? Probably in New York, by the look of it. Yeah.
Wherever it is. Whenever it is, I'm just happy that we're finally going to see the fight. Yes, they're in the twilight years of their career, but so what? Let's celebrate it and celebrate the new stars that are coming through. That's me sitting on the fence, lads.
Well done.
Well, look, good luck with the challenge. Maybe we'll have a chat with you when you're en route. It might be nice to
Yes,
keep in
please.
touch. Yeah. Cheers,
Lovely.
Darren. Take care.
Up the Chelsea.
Never got round to Chelsea. We'll
Never
do
mind.
that next time when he's running from Edinburgh to Dover. So it's a lovely thing, isn't it? Really. I mean,
Yeah, terrific.
and as I said, I think it's
The swimming part of it,
Yeah.
difficult.
That's right, across the channel. So, good luck to Darren. As we said, we'll send out the details. If you can, check it up on Just Giving. It's the longest round challenge if you'd like to support Darren and Calm. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Lots to come. We've still got some clips of the week for you.
Barcelona are now leading the race to sign Rodri from Manchester City, notwithstanding the loss that would be to City in a new era under Enzo Maresca. What's the latest on that? And is it the case that Real Madrid have dropped the ball here? Because it seemed to be, reading reports, that Real Madrid were in the driving seat with this one.
Yeah, Rodri wanted Real Madrid earlier in the window, and Florentino Perez hadn't decided what kind of midfielder he was going for, which is why several names were linked, including Enzo Fernandez, and Real had to issue a statement saying we've had no contact with Enzo Fernandez. Jose Mourinho came in. Finally, they got the mandate from Perez to start negotiating financially, but Barca have basically hijacked this, although some sources say Barca were there even before the window opened, and it was Real that kind of steamrolled in. And ultimately, Rodri, for family reasons, wants to go to Spain. But we've got a fascinating scenario now. Man City want to keep. Pep Guardiola never used to stand in players' ways, especially senior ones that had been long-serving and loyal to the club. But Enzo Maresca's new. And of course, if it's his say, he'll go to his board and say, keep him. If he doesn't renew, we'll let him leave on a free transfer in 2027. And now Barca are going to accelerate and bid, and they have full player buy-in. So Rodri wants Barcelona over Real Madrid, and I think there's a strong chance that this one happens. Man City are going to add another midfielder. Ayoub Boadi advanced talks. They've got other targets as well. Elliot Anderson has already come in. And in essence, it's whether City say Rodri deserves this move and follow that Pep Guardiola approach, or if they double down and say Enzo Maresca doesn't want him to leave, so we're going to make it really difficult.
Talking boxing there with Darren Barker. Just a reminder, Saturday Fight Night returns to the zone. Callum Simpson, Troy Williamson meet once again in the huge domestic rematch with unfinished business to settle after their first meeting. Delivered plenty of drama. You can join the Zone Ultimate for 185 plus fight nights, minimum 12 plus pay-per-view events every year, including the Talma versus Hergovic, Ryan Garcia versus Conor Benn, all included at no extra cost. Let's get the sports headlines now with Uma Gurav.
Talk Sport.
Thanks, Paul. Man City have rejected Barca's opening bid for Rodri, which is understood to have been worth around 45 million euros. We understand City want around 75 million, but talks are continuing and Barca remain optimistic. talkSPORT's Ben Jacobs explains why what happens next could be up to the way Man City choose to act.
And in essence, it's whether City say Rodri deserves this move and follow that Pep Guardiola approach, or if they double down and say Enzo Maresca doesn't want him to leave, so we're going to make it really difficult.
Rodri's agent this morning confirmed that the midfielder's preference is to join Barca and he's already agreed personal terms. Elsewhere today, it looks like Spurs captain Christian Romero's off to Spain too, having agreed terms with Atletico. Peterborough chairman Darren McAntony says if Romero was his player, he'd be more than happy for him to be out the door.
Absolutely. But not only that, he was always a walk-in red card anyway. So, I think Spurs fans and Spurs owners and the managers would have seen enough of him. You just gone through the depth they have, the players they signed this summer, they don't need him.
This as Mickey van de Ven is set to sign a new 5-year deal with Spurs. Mexico, meanwhile, have come out in support of Gianni Infantino, despite CONCACAF positioning themselves against him. In a statement, Mexico say they oppose any attempt to unseat Infantino without a full vote. But with everything that's happened, ex-FIFA Vice President Jim Boyce can't see Infantino coming back from this.
FIFA are there to promote football. They're not there to promote egos or situations that have occurred in Qatar and recently with Donald Trump in America. Johnny has a lot of work to do to rebuild his reputation.
And assistant ref Sian Massey-Ellis, who was the second woman to ever officiate in the Premier League, has retired to take up a role with the FA. She'll be developing the next generation of female officials.
talkSPORT News.
The government says more people working illegally are being arrested and deported, and Meta has been ordered to pay almost $1 billion to address the harm done to children by social media. Sinead has more in half an hour.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Heatwave outside, oven inside. Stay cool this summer with a free aircon check. Book online or visit your local QuickFit today.
Cloudy skies for northern Scotland with outbreaks of rain through the day, light winds elsewhere, and it's feeling warm in the sunshine.
Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Andrew McKenna's been in touch. His memory's better than ours. He said, fellas, I'm fairly certain about a few months back you spoke about a story about Pato trying to buy Colchester United. I'd completely forgotten about that. Yeah. So it's not the first time he's tried to buy into a sort of lower league club in this country.
He can't stop.
Oh, he loves it. He'd be National League South. He pores over all the results.
Torquay.
Be sitting in for Adrian doing Saturday afternoon soon. Anyway, Big Alan, of course, returned to talkSPORT. Alan Brazil, the legend it is, returned to our studios this week. But if you're already getting withdrawal symptoms, fear not, because Alan is back over the weekend on Virgin Legends on Saturday at 6 p.m. In case you haven't heard his show, this is what you're missing.
Christopher Cross, remember getting the CD and I'd never heard of him. Brilliant. Pete Gabriel, wonderful man, and Olivia Elton John. Baby, when I think about you. It's Alan Brazil here on Virgin Radio and my Legends Takeover, bringing the most the brilliant Edison Lighthouse. I've got my head here, Northeast. Were they from the Northeast? It's Alan Brazil here on Virgin Radio, my Legends Takeover, bringing the most anthemic. Right, I've had a rollicking here. Edison Lighthouse, Brazil, are not from the Northeast. Tony Burrows, lead singer, was from Devon.
Who's Olivia Elton John?
By the way, I hope that was edited. That wasn't just a rambling stream of... It's like Stephen Burkoff. It's amazing. It was like a piece of performance art. Alan, fantastic. Edison, Lighthouse for me, It's great. It's just like being in a pub with a bloke that you don't have a conversation with. Of course not. But that's it. Look, if that's not entertainment, I don't know what is. So tune in to Big Alan on Virgin Radio Legends. Let's give you all the details. Yeah, Virgin Radio Legends, Saturday night at 6 p.m. Yes, we're going to have a bit of a Rodri chat later on with Ben Jacobs. Apparently, they're looking for 75 million.
Forget it.
Thing is, as we've said, that old 1 year left on your contract has kind of gone out the window.
No one's going to pay that. You know, they'll wait till January.
75 million euros to be.
Doesn't matter. They'll wait till January, and if it, it's still up,
Barcelona.
They'll try then it'll be even less.
talkSPORT understands, as we like to say, has been. We've been told that 45 million's been rejected. That's euros, so that's what about 38 million
prices.
quid.
But I mean, City wanted Gusto, and Chelsea quoted him 75 million. He's not worth 75 million. It's ridiculous. You want to say 50 million, maybe, yeah, but that's it.
Well, let's chat now about a new book. We couldn't have, talking about whether someone's worth 75 million after 1 year on their contract couldn't be further away from our next guest book.
Very true.
Alex Timperley has written For the Love, How Football Supporters Can Change the World. And he joins us now. Hi, Alex.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's a great pleasure. Yeah, we're going to move away from all the high finance. And although it's your club we're talking about, of course, you're a City fan, aren't you? So, well, let's ask you a proper football question before we get into it. So, would you rather see Rodri stay and go for nothing next year? I suppose it's not your money, and he's such an important player, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. I think worrying about the accounts is not really my job. Worrying about whether to get 40 million this year or nothing and next summer. I like watching Rodri. You know what? He's brilliant.
And he's had a great World Cup after a tough season with a lot of injury. Never really got his mojo back, kind of until he got to the World Cup, did he? Where he was fantastic.
Yeah, he was brilliant.
Exactly. Yeah, it'd be a shame if the last time we saw him was an injury-shortened season. You know, it'd be nice to have him back for a year.
Now, your book, it's interesting. I suppose at a time as football fans, and I'm a season ticket holder, as is Andy, at our respective clubs. And you always feel like you're sort of new to the club doesn't care about you and you've got no power and you can't have a say. But I suppose the Super League, which we always come back to, was kind of living proof that when football fans come together and they say no, they can move a mountain, can't they?
Absolutely. I mean, that's really the central thrust of the book, you know, as clubs are moving away from the people and places that made them, you know, how do football supporters fight back? You mentioned season cards. Terms and conditions are being eroded at the same time prices are going up. What can we do about it? I think the main thrust of the book, what it's about, is that football supporters, there's more of us than anyone else in every other town and city in the country. You know, if we work together at our own clubs and between clubs, there's nothing really we can't do. It's hard work and everything like that. Of course it is, but the book goes into past examples. You know, you mentioned the Super League, 20s Plenty's another one, the COVID pay-per-view, all that. You know, those were all big victories enabled by supporters. So it looks at all that and how supporters can really get together and push back and win. And because I think the beautiful thing about football, as you'll too know, as season ticket holders, is it's the joy of it, you know. And when the clubs try and move away from that and take it away, almost, it's time to push back, and that's really what moved me to write this.
I mean, our ultimate, we were talking about myself and Andy, knowing you were coming on, the ultimate sanction of any football fan is to effectively withdraw our label or withdraw our attendance and say, and we see this now and again, we say, okay, we're all going to miss the first 20 minutes of the game to protest about X. And in the end, that's a difficult thing. Some people do it, some people don't, because we love going to football, and that's the thing. And we are kind of torn, aren't we, emotionally? We want to protest, but in doing that, we might end up not watching the team we want to watch.
Yeah, that's really the conflict. I mean, we had this at City. I suppose the difference is that view is the long term versus the short term. Right, we all want to watch our clubs, but at the same time, if we do nothing now and people get priced out and it's not the same anymore, then what have we done by doing nothing? You know, we at City, we escalated through a series of things. You know, we got disabled parking charges cancelled. We pushed the FA to change kickoff times and community shields through protest. And then eventually, we had those in-stadium protests, which got us pretty major wins on season card pricing and terms and conditions, which nothing's perfect and the fight goes on. But at the same time, every win's important. And I mean, you will have seen it if you've been season ticket holder for a long time. The way it's changing in grounds, it's noticeable. And I think actually in recent years it's become more so. And putting a stop to that is important.
Well, I mean, it's also aging. I do think it's a problem with season ticket holders. You know, you look around you at Chelsea, and everyone's like me. You know, there's a lot of older people going. You know, and I think that is a problem.
Well, because it's become such an expensive business, isn't it? I mean, most clubs do have concessions, don't they, for sort of
but the problem
16 to 21 or 22.
At Chelsea, I don't know what it is now, but when my kids were, it was up to 16, and once they got to 16, they had to have proper season tickets.
I know. I think at Tottenham we've got a kind of young adult ticket. I don't know if you do the same thing at City. So I think there is an eye on what Andy was saying, Alex, that you've got quite an old audience, maybe aren't spending as much on drink and food in the stadium, aren't spending as much in the club shop, etc. So the clubs have got to kind of regenerate to an extent, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And concessions is an interesting one because the erosion of terms and conditions is a long-term threat to the club. And you talk about Tottenham, for example, there was a huge issue there.
Yeah.
And then it's not completely resolved. Part of the book I speak to Martin Cloak, who obviously you'll be aware of,
of course,
and quoted the Tottenham Supporters Trust on this, and it's a huge issue. And obviously West Ham, of course, was the worst example of it, as it often is in recent years. But yeah, that difference and the short-term decision making of the clubs, the people who run the clubs, I should say, is the opposite of that. And that intergenerational link. We have 4th, 5th, 6th generation season card holders at City who now won't be able to pass them on to their children because the club's terms and conditions are taking them away. And that's a picture being repeated across clubs, across the league, across the country. And actually, I go into this in more depth in the book, but I think a really important thing is we can use our numbers as football supporters to not just win little victories against individual things. So yeah, we got a season card price freeze. Great. Okay, what does that look like in 3 years? But the key is using that to just those same organisation tactics and cooperation in community work and tie our clubs back to the communities, because that's where the problem lies. People who buy football clubs, a lot of them have no ties to the community anymore, and they don't see the value in that. And as you say, you look around grounds and the demographics aging, and yeah, there's some concessions for younger people, but look at what Manchester United have done this summer. The people can't afford it, and what happens then in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and I think as a supporter, we think about the long-term health of our clubs because they're ours, and we care about them on a level beyond the spreadsheet, right? And that leaves us to a different point of view, and it means we have to organise and fight for our point of view because no one else will. You look at club owners don't. The media will highlight certain things, and I'm not having to go at the media, but like a lot of the media cycle, I think you'll agree, is who's the next transfer, what's the next game, and that's how it works. But we have to fight for ourselves and realise we have that power because, like I said before, we are the biggest group of people, and we can withdraw our support. We can make things impossible. You talk about the Super League, and I think the shadow of the Super League hangs over everything, doesn't it? As the end goal, I think.
Yeah, and I think it was a real wake-up call to people in power of football in this country, not just individual people at the top of clubs, but the other thing
is key as well. It's the type of fans that can get, and that affects the atmosphere. If you've got too many rich people, too many old people, too many corporate people, that's not great for the atmosphere in the ground, is it?
No, and that is key as well. That's very true.
No, and the people who run the clubs talk about it as the product, right? But then they don't show much indication that they care about the health of the product, as they call it, and it's our, if as a supporter you view it as your club, not theirs, which I think is a viewpoint common to many of us.
Yeah, they're just passing through, aren't they? They are there. I mean, a lot of owners say that, and then maybe they're paying lip service, but they say, I'm just the custodian of this club, So whether they mean it or not, I don't know.
Well, do you remember all the quite funny pretend apologies after the Super League collapse? Yeah, they were great. Yeah. They were good. I think there was an apology video from the guy.
There was at Liverpool, John Henry, wasn't it? Proper mea culpa.
And it's funny looking back at that. But yeah, and that's it really. And and we can do it because we have the numbers, we have the power, we care, we have the emotional connection, and the book does. Of course, it's I would like this to be how the world works. This is how the world could be better, but it's very practical as well. It's this is how to do it. This is how people are doing it now. This is how you can get involved. This is what we can achieve. Whether it is the victories at the football, like City supporters actually being the only group of people in the UK to force the Abu Dhabi government into concessions ever, when our actual own government can't, or whether it's the fan supporting food banks movement, it's all, I won't give too many spoilers, but there's a great story about the power of football supporters, and at the end where Ken Narita, a Japanese bloke who went to Newcastle for university and actually made a living busking in Newcastle, so he must be pretty good. He came back to Newcastle later because he wanted to see about fan supporting food banks, and he went all around the country, and now he's back in Japan, and he's created his own organisation based on British football supporters, and he feeds 4,000 people a month. So that's the power we've got, and it's that sort of thing which the people who run football clubs can't replicate.
Sure. Alex, we're out of time. Lovely to talk to you. The book is called For the Love, How Football Supporters Can Change the World, and it is out now. Good to talk to you. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much.
Alex Timperley there. We're going to be chatting to Susie Perry. Next, we're going to talk a bit of MotoGP and also a bit of Wolves, which are her team, of course, as they head into another championship season. And we'll talk transfers, including all that Rodri news that's breaking currently with Ben Jacobs, our transfer guru, very shortly. We're here with Tool Station, open from 7 a.m. Monday to Saturday. Grab what you need, get on site, get it done. First stop, Tool Station.
I anticipate Arsenal to absolutely go again and just be as good as they've been this season. The key element for me on the title this year is Rodri. If Rodri's a Manchester City player throughout the whole course of the season, Manchester City will win the league.
That's a shouting off, that is, isn't it?
Do you disagree? If Manchester City lose Rodri and he goes to Real Madrid, they will not win the league.
I know what you're saying, but I look at it as well from because Anderson's coming, isn't he?
Yeah. So he's not Rodri.
I know he's not Rodri.
But he'll benefit from playing alongside him.
Yeah, that would happen.
But if you leave him on his own in there, I think you've got carnage.
I do know what you're saying, but I think there's more of a factor that Maresca might not be up for it either. You don't know yet.
I think he's up for it.
You reckon he's up for it?
I think he's up for it.
We'll see.
He knows that club. He's been at that club. He understands how that club
you're
works.
You're talking like a real Manchester City supporter.
He went to Chelsea. He did.
Are you Blackburn? You're a Blackburn fan, yeah?
Yeah, hold on a minute. We'll talk about their dismal summer in a minute.
What about the other teams?
Why are you doing this? Why are you deflecting?
Well, I'm just trying to say.
All I was doing was talking about the Premier League title race. That's all I was saying. And I was just saying that the big impact, the key piece of information for me is Rodri being a Man City player throughout the whole course of the season. And if he is, Manchester City will win the league.
Cool, but that's a shout.
Do you not think so?
So where was he last season?
Getting back from his ACL, mate. Do you not think so?
No, listen, mate.
So you're tipping Arsenal. You think so? You believe in what I said at the start of the show, that you believe that we're entering a dynasty time.
Yeah, but I wouldn't hang my hat on it.
Now, live this Sunday on talkSPORT 2 from 1 p.m, we bring you MotoGP live from Silverstone. Here to tell us more about that is the host of TNT's coverage of MotoGP. Big Wolves fan, we'll touch on that, of course. It's Susie Perry. Hi, Susie.
Hello there to both of you. Yeah, we're really excited here at Silverstone. We've had a summer break, actually, so we've had 3 weeks off, and this is our first race back. And we've got sunshine at Silverstone, which is a first, I can tell you that.
Oh, really?
Now, you ran the track yesterday, Susie, is this right?
Oh, the slowest lap time of all, yeah. Yeah, we tend to, we've got like a sort of little run club at TNT, and on a Thursday night or a Friday night, we'll go out and have a run around the track. And it's good. Obviously, it's great for fitness. It's a privilege to be able to do it. But also, you get to see the sort of nuances of the track, and you get to see any bumps or any camber changes or anything. So it's a bit of research, but it's a lot of fun, especially when you finished it.
Do you do one circuit, and how long is that?
Yeah, I do one circuit, yeah. Someone said to me the other day, how many laps do you do? I'm like, one. This is one of the longer tracks on the calendar. So it's sort of just shy of 5.9 kilometres.
Oh,
and
right.
It's just a shuffle, it's just a sort of, it's a nice thing to do to clear the head ahead of the weekend. And yeah, it took me 36 minutes. So that's what I mean. It's not a fast pace. It's a Sunday jaunt, really.
Have you done it on a bike? Have you been round on a bike?
Yeah, I have. I've been around Silverstone on a bike several times. I think the most recent one was actually with Neil. Did a pillion ride with Neil a few years ago, and we filmed it all for an opener. So yeah, it's a lot. It's very different going on a bike than it is when you're running around, obviously.
Yeah,
but yeah, the braking is. I always think on a racetrack, the braking is what you really feel.
Yeah.
Mostly because it kind of takes your breath away, and it's hard braking. So yeah, lot of fun. A lot of fun being on a bike wherever you are, really.
Now,
But then I would say that, wouldn't I?
Yeah, of course. Yes. British involvement. Carl Crutchlow is involved. I saw the notes where we were given. I thought he'd retired, but he's back.
Well, he has retired.
Yeah.
He's like status quo of
Right.
MotoGP. He just keeps on coming back. But I'll tell you what, he's been fantastic because Joan Zarco, the LTR Honda rider, got injured in Catalonia sort of halfway through the start of the season. And Cal came in, and we were all a bit surprised that it was Cal because, he had retired. And although Cal keeps himself super fit because he's an amazing cyclist, still to get on a MotoGP bike and use muscles that you haven't used in, 7 or 8 years, and he's in his 40s, we just thought this could be a disaster, actually. And of course, Cal's got such a great reputation, and he's a Grand Prix winner, and sort of took over that mantle from Barry Sheene. He almost had a lot to lose with it, but he's done really well, and I think he's kitted himself out perfectly, and he's improved during every race weekend. But more than that, for us, it's lovely having Cal around because he's got this dark Midlands sarcastic sense of humor, and I think this paddock needs it. For example, in the summer, all the riders are posting their pictures on yachts with their beautiful girlfriends and all the food, and you're like, oh, for God's sake. And then Cal puts his picture up, and he's in a rowing boat with his top off in the Isle of Man, and it was just perfect. It really was. And he's very popular, so it's kind of the last chance as well to see Cal racing again. I don't think he's going to make another comeback. So
it's good for the crowd.
Yeah, great for the crowd. And obviously we've got some Brits in Moto3, but it's lovely to have a Brit in MotoGP. And he's just such a fantastic character, is Cal.
I see Barry Sheene has been inducted into the MotoGP Hall of Fame. He was the absolute breakout star of motorbike racing. There's been no one like him that kind of crossed over into advertising, celebrity TV, mainstream. I mean, till James Toseland and his sort of musicianship, there was really nobody even got close to that.
I think in the UK, you're bang on there. Barry Sheene broke the mould. And it was at a time where James Hunt was doing the same in Formula One. And I guess you've got George Best, you've got Muhammad Ali that crossed over, crossed through sport to entertainment. And Barry did that so beautifully. Obviously, the fact that he was super handsome helped. He had that great sense of humour, and he could put it out on track as well, and obviously became world champion. So you did have that. We haven't had that since. I think it's rare. We've had it in an Italian, in Valentino Rossi. So he certainly was able to do that. But, we had to adopt him when he lived in London to say that he was a little bit British, which we did. But yeah, it's hard, isn't it, really? Because people say, oh, where's the next Barry Sheen coming from? Where's the next Valentino Rossi? And I just think someone comes along once every 3 decades or something like that with the X factor. It's special. You can't manufacture it. It kind of fizzles up. And if you say, is there somebody coming in? I don't know. Not that I've noticed.
No. Quick one on Wolves then. Back to reality tonight. First round of the Carabao Cup against Port Vale. Down with respect to Port Vale. Back down to earth. How are you feeling about the season, Susie?
I think Raul Jimenez has had the most fantastic prep for this race in the World Champion. I mean, the World Cup was so good for him. We feel really excited to have Raul Jimenez back in the team and back up front. I think, to be honest, pre-season, they've looked pretty good. I think Caesar, the new coach, has done a good job with the players that he's got. We definitely need to strengthen the squad. We need goalkeeper first and foremost. That's a big priority for me. But did see really good glimpses of what they look like off the ball. We have got some sort of identity now, which is nice. Did see some good high press, which resulted in a few goals. So I'd like to see a bit more of that. But I'm excited, actually, in answer to your question, to get going. And I think we need to go up this season because, as you know, when you go to the Championship, your first time there is your best chance to get back up again. So we expect to go up, and I will be really disappointed if we don't. But I think West Ham go in as favourites, don't you?
I would think so, yeah, especially with Jared Bowen staying. But Susie, thank you. Have a good weekend at Silverstone.
Thank you very much. Hope you enjoy the bikes.
Take care. That's good. Live this Sunday, Silverstone MotoGP on talkSPORT 2 from 1 p.m. and you can watch every practice, qualifying and race exclusively live on TNT Sports with Susie and Neil. She was alluding to there, of course, Neil Hodgson. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. We're going to look at some of the transfer stories of the day. Things are moving at a pace, it seems, with Rodri. Offers being made and rejected. They seem a fair old way apart, the Barcelona and City at the moment. We'll get the latest.
What price would do it? It's got to be 50 minimum.
I think 50 minimum. Yeah. There was, but I think they will. Well, let's find out from Benno. He was looking for 50 million euros or 50 million pounds. He's the person to tell us. And the first potential collateral damage, if UEFA can't make up with FIFA, is going to be the women's game. And we've got the under-20 World Cup, which is taking place with a number of European sides, including England, involved, and all the squads picked.
It's a big thing to ask kids to give up their chance to play in a World Cup. This is the problem with it's always say, UEFA boycott and everything, but it's harsh on the players.
Senior player from women's football has just thrown her weight behind the boycott. We'll find out who that is and find out more about that in the next half hour. And don't forget, 3:30 today, the return of the clips of the week.
Look at Real Madrid. Go and look at this is the point that I think Gabby was making this morning. I know that he was making it regarding trophies and what have you, but look at the brand value.
180 million.
There you go. Right, that's how big that football club is.
Right, that's a lot.
That's how big that is as a worldwide entity. 180 million, and you're talking about him coming to a club that has 32 million followers on Instagram. Again, these are very basic metrics. Very basic metrics. But Vinicius Junior is in a completely different stratosphere. All this talk about him coming to Arsenal throughout the whole course of the summer has just been manipulation from an agent trying to get the dude a few more quid. That's what it is. He was never in a million years going to be an Arsenal player this summer. That's what it is. It's just manipulating the market. Let's see if I can get some more money for my guy. Yeah. Why would he come to Arsenal?
I said that was the agent talk. Just using Arsenal as a
leverage.
A tool.
Yeah. Arsenal are interested. Oh, right, wicked. Brilliant. Arsenal, champions of England. Right, well, let's use them. Yeah. Let's use them. Go back to the table with the Real Madrid lads. Yeah, he's coming out of contract. You know what I mean? He needs a few more zeros on this contract. Yeah. Okay. We're going to sign Yandy Mande. Let's put some pressure on you. No, don't worry about that. Vinny Jr. ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Is it?
Come on. You can't leave. I just don't see leaving Real Madrid as a... Unless you don't leave Real Madrid unless Real Madrid leaves you.
That's it.
That's it, mate.
Unless you come to the end of your time on your way, son.
Can't have a supermodel girlfriend and you leaving your supermodel girlfriend.
She leaves you
for the dinner lady. Like, you know what I mean?
The dinner lady. You can't call Arsenal a dinner lady.
Oh, it's love, innit? It's love.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Yeah, more on those Lucy Bronze quotes. We'll bring you them in a bit more detail that Sinead was alluding to there. Later on, we're going to talk a bit of rugby league. Carl Fitzpatrick and Chris Radlinski, the CEOs of Warrington Wolves and Wigan Warriors, respectively, going to join us for a chat. They're off to Ireland next year, playing Dublin. And it was announced yesterday that the two teams who played last night, Hull FC and Saints St Helens, they'll be going as well. So it'll be a couple of days of live rugby league. So anyway, we'll bring you more on that later and the clips of the week. But first, transfers. And it's all going on with Rodri at the moment. We'll try and get to the bottom of that and other matters as well with Ben Jacobs. Hello, Ben.
Good afternoon, guys.
So we're in a situation, we understand, that they've made an offer of 45 million euros, Barcelona, which has been rejected, with City wanting around 75. I mean, there must be a compromise figure. Do we know what it is?
Yeah, we're in an inflated market, though, so you could argue Manchester City's asking price is not entirely unreasonable. Jean-Paul Van Hecke going Brighton to Spurs, 1 year left, £52 million, which is about 60 million euros, a Ballon d'Or winner, best player at the World Cup. Manchester City's perspective is exactly that, because they don't want Rodri to go. Plan A is Rodri extends. Plan B is Rodri leaves on a free transfer and does one more season. And Plan C is sell. And yet Rodri wants the move. And that's where maybe there is the possibility of a compromise. Barca are going to be back. The first bid, 45 million euros, but there were some add-ons on top. So the total package was in and around 50 million euros. And now new bid expected to be a bit closer to the number that Manchester City are looking for. But because Rodri wants the move more for family than football reasons, I still think there's a fair chance that this deal gets done.
And Madrid out the picture completely, or?
Yes, so Madrid had buy-in from Rodri initially, but then Barca came calling. And then even though I say family decisions to move to La Liga and back to Spain, football decision as to whether it was Real Madrid or Barcelona. And when both clubs presented their proposals, Barca more recently, Real maybe 2 weeks ago, Rodri has decided that he wants to go to Barcelona, and Real Madrid have, at the moment anyway, withdrawn from negotiations with Manchester City.
It's an interesting, when players talk about lifestyle, I mean, we had a little bit at Tottenham with Christian Eriksen. It's a very difficult argument to have, isn't it? Because you're saying, look, my family want to go back. I want to go back to Spain. I've given you 7 years of my career. I've given you my best years. I mean, he's 30 years old now. So I'm sure he will sit down and have an adult conversation with Enzo Maresca. I hope it doesn't get...
You reckon that Pep would have let him go, I think, because Pep wasn't wanting to keep players.
Yeah, but, I mean, Maresca's come into the job.
Yeah,
and
he's more desperate.
I mean, he's as you said, Ben, he was the best player in the World Cup. He's still got a lot to offer, and he's still very key to City, isn't he?
Yeah, I think the main point here is, as you rightly say, Enzo Maresca will have a slightly different perspective to Pep Guardiola and no doubt want to be keeping all of his best players. And do the Manchester City board really dig in and say to Rodri, the terms of a potential exit are very different than if Pep Guardiola said, I won't stand in your way. But Man City are really respectful to Rodri. This is amicable. And if Rodri goes, it will be with Man City's blessing. And if they were to double down, then I don't imagine Rodri refusing to train or play. But he wants this move and now, because maybe he feels that he won't be in a position to get Barcelona in 12 months' time. The other thing in all of this is Man City are active in the market, and my expectation is Ayoub Bouadi, the very talented Moroccan, ends up joining. What's been under discussion is, does he come now for a higher number, or do Lille get their way, loan or pre-agreement, and ultimately that's a 2027 move. Now I sense City will be aggressive in the market to try and get Bouadi immediately, and I still come back to what I said before, that the number is up for discussion, but the direction of travel is still Rodri to leave Man City.
Jed Spence, there was a story yesterday suggesting Liverpool could be interested, then subsequently apparently that isn't the case. I mean, where are we at with that one?
Yeah, my understanding on Liverpool is a few things. That Jed Spence is exploring options because he wants to be a regular starter somewhere after a superb World Cup. I'm not sure that Roberto De Zerbi can offer him that, because on one side you've got Pedro Porro, on the other Destiny Udogie, but of course a fantastic option for Tottenham, whether as a squad player or a starter. But Spence is inclined to leave, a bit like Lucas Bergvall, because he knows that he can't be given that absolute guarantee. Inter looked earlier in the window. Everton are interested as well. My understanding is that the player side would welcome an offer from Liverpool, which is maybe where this story has come from. And yet Liverpool sources say to me they're not in for Jed Spence. So at the moment, it's a non-starter. And then just a word also on Liverpool and Bradley Barcola. We've heard some suggestions today that there's an agreement in principle in place between PSG and Liverpool for Bradley Barcola. That's not my understanding at the moment. We know Liverpool want Barcola. We know Barcola wants Liverpool. We know PSG want 170 million euros. And we know that Liverpool are not going to go that high. And at the moment, nothing is advanced, done, agreed. But of course, come the end of the window, Liverpool would love to get Barcola over the line.
They've also been linked to another PSG player, 18-year-old Ibrahim Mbaye, the Senegalese winger. I mean, it's 8. Yeah, is there any chance of that happening?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously, if Liverpool were to decide to do a double deal, then perhaps that helps them drive the overall package down. Maybe you go to PSG and you say with them buy valued at between 40 and 50 million euros, and Liverpool may be wanting to pay 120 million euros or less. And I think their starting point will be more 100 million euros or within that ballpark. So if you add those two fees together, you can conceivably see how Liverpool would love to walk away from a negotiation with PSG, spending 170 million and getting a 2-for-1. And are PSG inclined to do that? At the moment, no. But if they add another attacker, so yesterday Magnus Akliouche was confirmed on a 5-year contract from Monaco for 50 million euros. And now there's talks for Götze from Ajax, but also Torres from Barcelona. And if one more comes in from PSG, then maybe everything aligns to make a serious attack at Barcola and/or Mbaye and get that price down. With Mbaye, it's worth pointing out Leverkusen are in advanced talks as well, but the player would welcome a bid from Liverpool. So this is where it looks like Liverpool are doing nothing, but actually they're reading the market and waiting for the right time to make a bid on Barcola to make sure that if it's possible, it's done at value.
We should talk about Nicholas Jackson as well, because do you think he's likely to stay at Chelsea, Andy?
I don't know. I mean, the trouble with him is he's a good player. We saw him in the World Cup, but even though he played in the friendly on Wednesday, and I think the manager had to take him off because he got into one of his usual rows with somebody. So he's always offside and he's always liable to get a red card, and that is the problem. But other than that, you can.
Isn't he a kind of put away one chance for every, score for every 5 chances?
Yeah, he's a bit like that, but I think he's very appealing to Villa, isn't he? Because
is that
Emery and all that?
What's the story there, Ben? Do we know?
Yeah, Chelsea wants £65 million, and from Jackson, Guiu, Delap, and Emiga, they're likely to lose 2 forwards. Emiga, not for sale permanently, loan potential or stay. Guiu, sale or loan. Delap, open to a sale. Same for Nicholas Jackson because Danny Welbeck's come in. So Chelsea are going to likely have 2 strikers leave. Delap's drawing interest from the Premier League. Villa do like Nicholas Jackson. We heard some reports that Tottenham were in. That's not my understanding. Spurs sources denying that they're going to bid for Nicholas Jackson. And then if Villa are going to move, maybe the reason why there's no movement is if both clubs are to reflect Morgan Rogers and should Jackson go to Villa, Nicholas Jackson, positively on their books. Because remember, when you do these sales, you can take that transfer fee and you can put it on your annual books. And then if you've got an outlay, you can amortize it, which makes it a bit more palatable. But under the new UEFA rules, you can't do these mirrored or separate deals within a 45-day window. Now, I don't know the exact maths, and there's a lot of conspiracies around. But if you roughly go back to when Morgan Rogers is, depending on when it was actually signed, and Chelsea might not have known that Villa were going to bid or potentially proceed with Jackson. But if you go back to that deal, roughly, if it is to fall outside of a 45-day window, then it would likely suit both Villa and Chelsea to do that deal right at the end of the window, because we're definitely still within that 45-day period now. And maybe that's why we haven't had any update on Nicholas Jackson's future, coupled with the fact that Xabi Alonso has just needed to see particularly both Delap and Jackson in pre-season before maybe inputting which one of them, or potentially both, he wants to depart.
I think he's seen enough of Delap already.
Yeah, yes, that just hasn't worked.
That's just not working. He'll go.
Yeah, I would think so. Ben, a pleasure as always. Thanks very much.
Thanks a lot.
Here we are. That's Ben Jacobs with all the latest from the transfer market. I'd be very sorry to see Jed Spence go. I mean, personally, I've said before, I would look to offload Destiny Udogie. He was an excellent player, but never fit. He's not featured in the pre-season friendlies because he's still not.
You look at him in the World Cup, you think, I've got to keep this bloke. He was brilliant in the World Cup. And his pace, I mean, he's got to be one of the quickest players in the Premier League.
I mean, Udogie breaks down a lot. When he does come back, he looks like he's kind of doesn't not trust his body, yet he still manages to break down with other. He doesn't seem robust enough for the Premier League. He's undoubtedly a really good player, but if it came down, if it was my shout, which of course it isn't, but as I said, I think being Italian may help him a lot with De Zerbi there, but we shall see what happens. Anyway, the Transfer Insiders podcast is available now. Dig deeper, Ben features, I believe, so you can have a good listen to that and get all the latest transfer news from talkSPORT wherever you get your podcasts. So the main casualty in the short term of any UEFA non-involvement in FIFA competitions will be women's football at different levels, whether that's under 20, under 17, or even the senior side who have still got playoffs. That's from an England point of view. We're going to be chatting about that very shortly and bring you some more of those quotes from Lucy Bronze, who feels it's right to stick with the boycott. We'll tell you more about that in a few moments. We'll bring you some clips of the week. We'll look ahead to a big weekend and indeed big evening in the Carabao Cups. We've got Borough versus Wrexham for you tonight on talkSPORT. Mickey Gray's going to join us for that. And all manner of other stuff besides. We're here with Tool Station. First stop for everything for the job from 7 a.m. Monday to Saturday. Start strong, start it right. First stop, Tool Station.
Chris, what about Man U? I fancy United have a much better season. I think Michael deserves this job, and I do think they're going to be up there. I think they're going to push. I think they're going to be strong.
No, I do. I think I'm so happy to see Carra's just thriving. I think, obviously, having played with him, you know what kind of character he is. He's that composed and he's intelligent, and he's obviously bringing that into one of the biggest jobs in world football. And I think the run they obviously had at the end of last season, obviously in 2026, I think they were like #1 in points taken. So for him to be able to have a full pre-season, bring in whoever he likes in terms of players and just have that belief, I think there's no one better kind of, steering that ship really. And no, I'm excited to see what the season brings for them.
I think it's going to be an interesting season, Chris, all round, because so many new managers. You don't know what to expect. Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs have spent big money as well. Whether they can try and get into that top four, and obviously the only one with a little bit of stability is probably Arsenal. But it's always hard to retain that title, isn't it?
100%. I think everyone's going to be hungrier than ever, and it is hard to kind of maintain that. You're now the golden ones that everyone wants to compete and to fight against. So I'm happy for United to be able to have that consistency from last season, because like you say, a lot of players are going to be coming, a lot of managerial changes. So I think United's got the perfect start at the minute, and hopefully hit the ground running.
stake for the Lionesses. Having travelled so far across the world, the dream down under ends with defeat in the final in Sydney. Spain are Women's World Cup winners for the first time in their history, and Serena Wiegmann's England are left with the desperate, gut-wrenching feeling of what might have been.
Well, that's brought me down. Why don't we play us winning the Euros?
That would have been better, really.
Well, because, of course, Spain and England are two teams that could be affected. The next generation of likely World Cup women's players could be featuring in the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. Starts on the 5th of September. But, of course, with UEFA still boycotting FIFA competitions and saying this kind of apology from Infantino is not enough to change their mind, women's football, including the Lionesses, who've got playoff games, and I think an Under-17 World Cup in October as well for women, is going to be the main casualty. Lucy Bronze, England Euros winner, of course, defender, has been chatting about it. She said, I think the players who play in these competitions, the European players, will stand by our beliefs and what is the right thing for the game. If that means boycotting competitions, then that has to happen. It's for the future of the game, not just for me today and tomorrow. It's for all the little girls and little boys who come after us to make sure.
It's kind of easier to say, though, isn't it, when you're 33 and you've played in World Cups and Euros? I do feel for these kids that are going to be asked to do this. It's got to be everybody, hasn't it?
I was looking up some of the players earlier on today, and obviously all the clubs that they're affiliated to are saying congratulations to X and Y who've made the England Under-20 squad. It is a fantastic honour to go off to this tournament. Let's have a chat with Emily Herbert. She's a women's football commentator, journalist and broadcaster. Hi, Emily. Oh, we've got you, yeah. Sorry, we could see you, we couldn't hear you, but I think you can hear us now, can't you?
Yeah, I can still hear you. Can you hear me?
Perfect.
Yeah,
we're all good. We're all good. Yes, I mean, the problem we've got is just the time constraint. There is so little time. They seem so far apart, obviously, UEFA from FIFA. And you wonder in the small amount of time we've got left to overcome this, how we can overcome it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that is the question, I guess, isn't it? It's going to be heartbreak for these young kids that have got the call up for the Under-17 World Cup, the Under-20 Women's World Cup, and then to be told, oh, actually, there's a force above you that we're not going to be able to make it. Like, we're not going to be able to go to the World Cup because of what is happening above you. As you say, the Under-20s kicks off on the 5th of September. The Under-17s Women's World Cup kicks off in October. And also you've got the senior squad who have to do qualifiers in October to actually make it to next year's Women's World Cup in Brazil. So this affects the whole of European women's football, really. And if this goes ahead and the boycott does stay and the senior lionesses won't be in Brazil, it means that the reigning champion Spain as well, of course, won't be there, and the runners-up. And actually, it's 6 out of 10 of the top nations are European countries in women's football. So for more than half of the top countries not to be in Brazil next year would be absolutely catastrophic for the World Cup.
I suppose we have to find out exactly what UEFA want from FIFA and what they want from Infantino. If all they want is him to go, that may be a longer process. You know, it could go on till March in this re-election. If they want guarantees for whatever they're worth, that they'll never attempt to set off the World Cup again. Till we kind of know the parameters of what UEFA specifically want, Emily, from FIFA, it's very hard to know whether these tournaments are in jeopardy or not, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. And it's standing by the message, I think, is clear. You know, the World Cup is not a product to be sold. It belongs to everyone. It belongs to the fans, the players, the coaches, everyone involved. And Lucy Bronze has come out today, as you said, before introducing me, saying the UEFA boycott is the right thing to do. Now, she is 34 years old, so you would think realistically this probably would be her last one if she even makes it. Now, obviously, she played the last Euros with a broken leg, so who kind of knows what she can and can't do. But that would be, you know, she might not have another chance to wear an England shirt in a World Cup. So it's a big statement from them. But of course, it's collective anger with players, coaches, everyone in the game. It benefits nobody, Infantino selling the World Cup off, apart from him and his rich friends. So we'll just have to see in the next coming days, coming weeks, what happens. But hopefully it can be sorted before the under-20 women kick off their tournament.
Given that Infantino will never, ever resign, he just won't. You know, it's not. It's not what people do these days. It's the ultimate sacrifice for players, isn't it? These kids could give up this chance of under 700, and then it could be resolved, and Infantino gone, and then they've missed the opportunity. But I suppose if it gets him out, then fair enough.
And it's the knock-on effect. Good performance in a high-profile tournament. Who knows? Maybe some of the big clubs around Europe come calling for you, or an upgrade in terms of the clubs you're playing for domestically. It's a bit like, you know, when you get cheated out of a medal in an Olympics, and you know, you can't quantify the benefit of that if you don't get the chance to show what you can do.
Yeah, of course, you're in the spotlight, aren't you? You know, you're broadcasted to the whole world, and not only that, it's the pride to put on your country's shirt and represent your country in something you've wanted to do for all your life. So it's a massive, massive opportunity for these women. And also, if this carries on, it will affect the men too. When, you know, who knows when this will be resolved? It could go on for years and years. Hopefully it won't, but it could do. And then the men teams will be affected as well. So this is, it's a huge situation, and we just hope it will be resolved shortly.
Fingers crossed. Emily, thank you very much.
Thanks, Emily.
Thank you.
That's Emily Herbert, their football commentator and journalist.
That's something I don't think Infantino could survive.
No.
If the UEFA pulled out of the World Cup.
But all we've got at the moment is from UEFA is what he said so far. And I mean, we spoke to Rob Harris yesterday from Sky News, and he was saying that the people who were in attendance who accepted the apology and said we move on were minus a lot of big senior people at FIFA. There was only a select band at FIFA who said, you know, we're going to let it go and we move on, and we trust Infantino.
But they're not going to tolerate any more attacks on their integrity.
Oh, can you believe that? I mean, you know, that was staggering, wasn't it?
Brilliant,
really?
isn't it?
Anyway, it's going to run and run. Hopefully we'll get a few more parameters from UEFA before too long. Still to come then. We will be chatting to Carl Fitzpatrick and Chris Radlinski from the World of Rugby League, two top CEOs. They'll be taking Warrington and Wigan to Dublin next year, as we said, along with Hull FC and St Helens, who will be joining him. It was announced yesterday. So this is off the bat. Of course, Vegas has been big. Both Warrington and Wigan played in Vegas a couple of years ago. So we'll be chatting with the guys about that and other matters besides, and looking ahead to the Carabao Cup and bringing you some clips of the week in the final hour.
Hussein, good morning.
Good morning, Shaban. Oh, Akbar Lahore. You're making me boil right now. I can't stand you, mate.
Oh.
You know, what have you won? What have you actually won, Gabby? You've not won nothing.
Yeah.
All you keep doing is just criticize Arsenal. What have you actually won?
Nothing, mate.
You know, it's actually funny that I used to like you as a striker, but now I can't even. I don't know what I used to see in you, because you've won absolutely nothing. And Arsenal are gonna win stuff.
But you
They're gonna
used
win.
to like
We've
me, you
just won
said.
the Premier League. Yeah, I used to, but now.
What did you like about me, though, from before?
Now he's your big gob. Sorry to say that. You keep criticizing Arsenal, but you just don't see how Arsenal are actually making. They're going places right now. We've just won the Premier League. You just even don't appreciate that we did that, because you just don't hate Arsenal. That's your issue.
I love Arsenal.
No, you don't.
I do. Thierry Henry is my favourite player. I've got his shirt that I wear at home.
Don't insult my intelligence, Gabby, please.
I love Arsenal, mate.
No, you don't.
I do.
Let me finish by saying this.
Okay.
Why will not what's his name, Vini, not come to Arsenal? Because we are actually building a team. Because we are building. Why should he stay in Real Madrid? Especially what
Real Madrid
happened between him and Jose. Never. you know what? I don't know if I'm going to get anywhere with you, but I said what I wanted to say.
Talk Sport.
Good afternoon with your headlines at 3. I'm Uma Gaurav. Man City have rejected an opening offer of around £38.5 million from Barcelona for Rodri. City are looking for an offer around £65 million, with Rodri already having agreed terms. talkSPORT's Ben Jacobs explains what City might be thinking.
Pep Guardiola never used to stand in players' ways, especially senior ones that had been long-serving and loyal to the club. But Enzo Maresca's new, and of course, if it's his say, he'll go to his board and say, keep him. If he doesn't renew, we'll let him leave on a free transfer in 2027.
Meanwhile, Christian Romero's agreed personal terms to join Atletico Madrid. We understand the Spurs skipper was sent off twice last season in their campaign to forget. And Jamie O'Hara says, good riddance.
Get rid of him. We've got better players now. He's a liability.
Yeah.
Van der Ven, make him captain. He's a player that you want in your side. You got Senesi, Van Hecker. Romero ain't even going to play.
Meanwhile, West Ham are back in action tomorrow for the first time since their relegation. They face Portsmouth in the EFL Cup live on talkSPORT 2. They'll have to do it without star players Matías Fernandes and Crescencio Somerville, who have both left. Boss Nuno Espirito Santo says while it was sad to lose them, he wasn't surprised.
All the clubs, many clubs have shown interest, but for Fernandes and Cree was a pleasure to work with them. I think they were very honest with us in the club. They give it all. And now we wish them all the best.
And Lioness Lucy Bronze says a UEFA boycott of FIFA competitions is the right thing to do. With next month's Under-20 Women's World Cup in jeopardy, UEFA are standing firm against Gianni Infantino, saying they'll not compete in FIFA tournaments. England are meant to open their campaign against Canada on September the 5th, but Bronze says missing out would be worth it for the good of the game.
Talk Sport News.
Russia could attack NATO within weeks, according to US intelligence. And the government says more people working illegally are being arrested and deported. Sinead has more in half an hour.
Talk Sport weather with QuickFit. Sort your new tyres this summer at a time that suits you best from the comfort of your home or work 7 days a week with our mobile tyre fitting service. Conditions apply.
Cloudy skies for northern Scotland with outbreaks of rain through the day, light winds elsewhere, and it's feeling warm in the sunshine.
Odds update on talkSPORT with Betfair. Everyone's got an opinion. Back yours at Betfair. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Yes, time now to get on the latest odds from James Mackey from our friends and new official betting partner Betfair. Hi, James.
How we doing, guys? Everyone all right?
Yeah, we've now got ourselves a big weekend of football, of course, in the Carabao Cup. And some pretty interesting games over the weekend. We're going to bring you a lot of those on talkSPORT and talkSPORT 2. So people, I suppose, people warming up, punters warming up for the season with some of these games, are they?
Yeah, I think so, and definitely tonight, where obviously you've got Wolves against Port Vale, where Wolves obviously coming down to the Championship from the Premier League last season. They'll be ones to watch, and probably the tie of the round this evening with Middlesbrough against Wrexham. Obviously, all eyes are always going to be on Wrexham, and Middlesbrough were unlucky not to go up last season, weren't they? So, yeah, a few good games tonight.
So let's have a look at Wolves, Port Vale. New manager, a few new players, a few old players coming back. So how are you seeing this one?
Yeah, two relegated sides from last season taking each other on, and obviously the Championship side Wolves are the strong 1-5 favourites to see off the League Two side Port Vale, who did actually have a good cup run last season, didn't they? I think they went out to Chelsea, didn't they, in the FA Cup? Port Vale, they are the big outsiders at 17-2 heading to Molineux, and the draw in the match odds 90 market is as big as 4-1. this will actually be the first meeting of Wolves and Port Vale since the 2013-14 season, when Wolves won each of their 2 matches in League One by a combined 6-1 scoreline, and the odds are suggesting a comfortable win for Wolves tonight. But it doesn't always happen in the Cup, does it? Looking at potential goal scorer in the game, well, Fer Lopez has come back into the fold for Wolves, having been on loan last season, and he's bagged 2 in 2 games in their last pre-season matches, and he's priced at 6-4 to get on the score sheet again tonight, which I actually thought was quite a nice price, having been in the goals.
These are straight to pens, aren't they? So it's 90 minutes and straight to penalties, I think, these games. So, yeah. Wycombe Stevenage is another one this evening. How are you seeing this one?
Yeah, an all League One affair at Adams Park, where Wycombe welcomes Stevenage, and the odds are suggesting that the home side should progress to the next round of the competition. Actually, here Wycombe are the 11-10 favourites to win the game in 90 minutes, and they've actually won 3 of the last 4 games against Stevenage, which is interesting when looking through this game. Stevenage have faced Wycombe Wanderers once before in the League Cup, losing a second round tie on penalties back in 2021 after playing out a 2-2 draw, and last year's League One playoff semi-finalist Stevenage as big as 2-1 to win the game tonight in the match odds 90 market, with a draw in 90 minutes priced at 9-5. And as I mentioned, last time they met in the Cup, it did end in a draw.
Remember last season, Michael Duff at Wycombe saying, he said, "You've wasted a year of my life." That was, what if that's still ringing in their ears, the players?
Isn't it?
Fantastic. So Borough Wrexham, all eyes will be on this.
Yeah, that's
won't it,
really intriguing, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably the tie of the round for me, gents. Like all Championship clash, 2 teams that are likely to be up there in the playoffs places this season. Middlesbrough v Wrexham, and interestingly, the home side Borough, the strong odds on 4-7 favourites here in the match odds 90 market. I thought that was quite short about them to see off the Welsh side here. And from the stats, like I said, that looks a short price, having won just 1 of their last 5 prior meetings with Wrexham across all competitions. Wrexham look a big price at 7-2 to win the game in 90 minutes, especially with Borough's record of losing 4 of their last 5 home matches in the League Cup, failing to score in any of those defeats as well. The draw is priced at 9-4, and interestingly, 3 of Wrexham's last 4 League Cup first round matches have gone to penalty shootouts since 2007, so the draw could be on the cards again this evening. 2 big goal threats for both sides, looking through the pre-season games so far for both. For Borough, Leo Casodine, who bagged 2 in the last game against Espanyol. He's 23-10, score any time tonight. And for Wrexham, the big man up top, Kiefer Moore, scored a lovely goal against Leeds in their win a few games ago, and he's as big as 3-1 score any time tonight.
Yeah, we know Stuart, his dad, don't we?
Yeah.
Of course, he's been doing very well at Chelsea.
He was doing. They sold him in the end. I thought he had a chance at one point, but there you go.
Well, I think
he'll have a good career in the game.
Young Leo could be one of those players that works his way back into the Premier League over the next couple of years, definitely. Nice one. Have a good weekend, James. Thanks a lot.
You too. Thanks, guys.
There's James Mackey there from Betfair with all the latest odds. You can go to betfair.com, 18+, begambleaware.org.
Odds update on talkSPORT with Betfair. Everyone's got an opinion. Back yours at Betfair. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Palace have made a signing. It's Takahiro Tomiyasu. Arsenal fans, of course, will remember. I think he went off to Ajax and had a bit of
player. He had a lot of injury problems, if I'm right.
I think he had injury problems that he hardly played at Ajax. But
when he played for Arsenal, he was good.
Yeah, he had a trial at Palace, and Pierre Sarge, the new manager, was very impressed with what he saw. So he has signed for the club because, they've lost Lacroix defensively, haven't they? So they want to strengthen in those areas. So Tomiyasu has gone to Palace. That one has just broken. So we're going to talk about rugby league. Before that, Andy, the floor is yours. Yeah, you want to share with the class.
Wow, a lovely Reader's trousers offer.
Oh, we can't beat them, can you?
No, you can't really.
These are trousers that are for, I'd say, men or maybe women as well. Obviously, they're mainly men. Or they're men's.
These are men's trousers
of a certain age, normally at the back of the Express or the Mail. And they're normally reinforced and have some kind of elastic round the waistband generally, don't they?
That's the ones here.
They're built for comfort,
it's
not
the
for
claims.
speed.
I like the claims.
You wouldn't wear them if you're going to Ibiza for the week with the kids.
The company are renowned for designing comfortable clothing.
Yeah.
We designed our new Ultimate Comfort trouser.
Yeah. Trouser, singular. I've always been a fan.
Following requests from our customers. Who are these people?
They maybe brought in a lot of customers and designed the perfect trouser.
It's fantastic.
Well, you don't want the wrong trouser, do you?
Well, what they wanted was a more formal version of our popular casual.
So one you can wear
tracksuit
for a dinner party.
Yeah, you can team it with your favourite jacket, shirt, or knitwear. What else is there?
Go topless like Onslow in Keeping Up. Wear it with a vest. Wear it with a vest. Yeah,
they're always good anyway.
How much are they, Andy?
I haven't got that bit. I'm sure they're very good value.
Why don't you buy a pair of these trousers and then model them for us?
No, do you remember I bought those massive... I wanted to do that classic weight loss shot, so I bought a pair of massive trousers deliberately.
Just so you could hold them up?
56-inch trousers, I could hold them up and it looked like I'd lost weight.
That would be a great thing to do. Like, so you get somebody to take a photograph of you, and you just stand in the street.
Oh, yeah, I've got the photo.
In the sort of middle of the Arndale or whatever, with a massive pair of trousers, and people will come up and say, "Oh, congratulations,
I'll try
well
and find
done."
it in the break. We can put it.
So
up
you bought some massive trousers so you could hold up some massive trousers to make it look like you'd lost weight. For what purpose?
Joke. I spent a lot of money on jokes.
I think the joke's on you. Why couldn't you just go to a charity shop and get a pair for £1? How much do they cost you, these large trousers?
I don't think they were particularly expensive.
Well, the way you're going, they'll fit you soon.
That's harsh.
Yeah.
Very, very harsh.
Nice. Okay, well, that's interesting.
I think I'm,
No, you're looking good, Andy.
I'm the sort of same.
Considering you're looking
I look
good.
the same amount of overweight as I did on my wedding photos, which is a good sign, really.
Is that right?
Yeah. I was a bit tubby, with a bit of a barrel stomach when I got married, and I'm still the same.
Quite the catch by the sound of it.
Yes, tremendous.
It's obviously what attracted Sue to you.
She always says I'm very attractive. I think her tastes terrible. There you go. What can you do?
Fantastic.
Good old Brian Limford. He's been busy.
Oh yeah, your friend who writes letters to the
writing
Star.
about sport. He's gone mad now.
Yeah.
Paul, the other one. Ben Stokes.
Sorry, Andy shouts because he writes in capital letters. This guy, and then you shout those. Yeah.
England cricketers have no problem with alcohol, but the sport does. Post Oz Test, Ben retired and saw a curfew nightclub incident. Yeah, we know that. Now he's studying level 3 coaching. Yeah, we knew that too, and would love to be England coach. We'll all drink to that. Ben, says Brian.
Yeah. We were reading today that when was Ben, who was it? It was Mark Wood and Stuart Broad when they went out with Ben Stokes. And I think we've all got a mate like this, haven't we? We've all got a mate that they're great people. They're really solid people. But sometimes when they've had one too many. When they're getting close to that. Yeah. And you think, okay, it's going to turn this. No, not necessarily in a bad way, but it's going to become a different evening. And the way they would say, "Oh, fancy a fillet of fish," and he'd say, "Oh yeah, I would." So that's how they'd attract him. So that's
a good idea.
He'd get a waft of Mackie D's, and then they could get him back on the straight and narrow. Not that I'm suggesting at all, but this is what they were effectively saying. That was their way to rein the evening in.
Fair enough.
I think that's the way I read it anyway. Apologies if I got it wrong, but I think it's a familiar pattern for us and many of our friends, of course.
No, it's true.
Anything else?
Well, yeah, we did have a thing that I wanted to do, but of course I can't find it, which is pretty annoying.
Okay.
At the time.
Nothing.
Oh
like
yes,
preparation.
I do love the performative nonsense from the Beckham, be it the Peltz Beckhams or the Beckhams. This thing where they always have to, on a public occasion or a birthday, make it a public occasion. You just think, what's the point of this? Happy anniversary. This is him. Happy anniversary, Nicola. I can't tell you how much I love. Well, you can. You can just turn around to and say, I love you.
Get a card on Moonpig.
That'll do, won't it? Yeah. You're my best friend, yeah, and I love you more than itself. Yeah, all right. I'm so lucky to be able to call you my wife, and you're my absolute princess, and I promise to always protect you.
Nice.
Tremendous. And she says, you make life so beautiful. Thank you for being the most amazing husband I could ever
dream. Great she didn't just say, yeah, whatever. Isn't it? That would have been good. Yeah.
That's what should happen. But, fair enough, I suppose.
I'm now trying to think where I read that story about a fillet of fish or whether I dreamt it. So, no, I don't think it does exist.
Absolutely right.
It does exist, as far as I know. But there we are, the power of fast food after a couple of beers and all that. So, Mickey Gray's going to join us, and we're going to talk about the Carabao Cup, Borough Wrexham this evening, and look at some of the other games over the weekend and say it's a great shop window for the League Cup. Obviously, we'll talk to Mickey about this. One of the great disappointments, of course, is that ultimately it's played out by Chelsea and Manchester City when it comes down to it, isn't it? When was the last time we had a team outside the Prem in the League Cup final?
Oh, no,
I'll do some work on that before we see.
I think United won it. A few big Well, of course, Newcastle won it, and it was a wonderful thing for the club, wasn't it? They absolutely loved it. So yeah, if a winner can come from actually outside the sort of,
So no, this has been backed up. Let me just read that. Yeah, Stuart Broad and Mark Wood were Stokes Guardians on night out and suggested a McDonald's before it got too late. That was my tactic all times. They said wherever we were, we'd say, "Oh, fancy a fillet of fish," and he'd go, "Yeah, let's go." That was all it took. So there we are.
It's quite amazing, really.
Lee in Crew says, I have a theory that on the last ever Hawksbee and Jacobs show, Paul turns to Andy and admits that he was Brian Limford all along.
That's a really good thought.
That I was writing them with the capital letters. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
We'll find out. You'll find out then, won't you, Lee? Maybe not. Who knows when that could be? Anyway, we're going to bring you some clips of the week. We're going to talk about rugby league next. Having gone to Vegas, Super League is off to Dublin next. We'll tell you more about that from the people who've instigated it. We're here with Tool Station. First stop, Tool Station.
But the Vinny Jr. one was a audacious attempt, to say the least.
Big word for you.
I've been learning this book that I've been reading. I've got these big words in. I'm trying to keep them in my brain. No, but it was always going to be tough shit, man. Like Vinny Jr. leaving Real Madrid to come to Arsenal, it just doesn't sound right. As Arsenal fans might get angry, I'll say it, but like, imagine Neymar Jr. at Barcelona. He's not going to leave Barcelona for Arsenal. They're always going to come to an agreement. Real Madrid aren't going to let a talent like that at 26. Do you know what I mean? What's he worth on the market? I know he's got a year left, but what's he worth, Vinny Jr.? Over 100 million easily. Real Madrid are never going to let that go. And Vinny Jr. in his mind won't want to leave Real Madrid. Imagine the crowds in Brazil, the people that love Vinny Jr. because he plays for Real Madrid. I just can't see it.
Well, that is interesting because it was my understanding that it was if he wanted to leave Real Madrid. There's never been a he wants to leave Real Madrid.
He's not said it, has he?
He's looking for the right offer. He's looking at Mbappe going, can I get money close to that? Can I get a deal close to that?
Of course.
And if they're not going to give me what I deserve, then yes, I would be interested in what Mikel Arteta is doing. And don't get me wrong, Arsenal are a massive club and they are on the verge of winning the Champions League. They're looking to go back-to-back Premier League champions. They absolutely can, right? They can. So, and I think he would get them over the line, but he's Vinicius Jr.
Yep, time to talk rugby league. And having had a couple of very successful excursions to Vegas, Super League is heading for Dublin next year. Warrington going to be playing Wigan, announced yesterday, added to the mix. Hull FC taking on Saints. So joining us now, I think the instigators of this plan, the CEOs of Warrington and Wigan, respectively, Carl Fitzpatrick and Chris Radlinski. Good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon. How you doing?
Yeah, we're good. Good. Carl, kick us off. So how did this all come about? I mean, because you guys played in the first of the Vegas games. Is this when you sort of had conversations about sort of taking the sport on the road?
That's correct. And look, the Las Vegas project was an incredible experience. But we entered into that with a joint venture with our good friends over at Wigan. So the original agreement was obviously Wigan was a home team in Vegas and we'd be the home team the following year in Dublin. However, which would have been obviously this year, we couldn't quite get the right venue. We wanted in terms of locality, size. We couldn't really find the right venue for this year. We looked at the Aviva, which was probably going to be too big and too costly. We looked at Tala, which is probably too far outside of Dublin and probably too small. The venue that we identified was the RDS, which is now the RDS Leia Arena, where Leinster play the home games. But that was under development. It had 52 million euros of investment. That is now ready. So it felt right to postpone it for 12 months. And here we are. So we announced it on Wednesday, and it's an incredible event in Manchester. And it was like a mini St. Patrick's Day on Wednesday afternoon in a drizzly in Manchester. We had leprechauns, we had Irish dancers, we had singers. There was lots of Guinness being sunk and drunk on a Wednesday afternoon. It set it up for it's been a fantastic now, 9 months leading to what's going to be another incredible occasion.
Chris, I was going to say, Union is big in Ireland, of course.
It's Leinster's ground, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, what about league? Is that you obviously feel there is a following for rugby league in Ireland?
Listen, I think they're a sports mad nation. They enjoy what happens on the field and they enjoy the after party, should we say. One of my teammates, past teammates, Andrew Farrell, is doing a wonderful job for that Irish Union team out there. And speaking to him over the last few months about going over there, he's really excited himself by the possibility and the opportunity to showcase rugby league over there. And lots of his friends within the Irish Rugby Union are looking forward to being over there as well. So, as Carl said, it's another opportunity for us to showcase Super League, grow our brands, and also, take this great game of ours on the road.
And maybe grow rugby league in Ireland a bit, Chris, because I was reading that I think they've lost their sort of World Cup status at the moment. They've had a slight downgrade. So get the interest up, get more people playing the game, and maybe a bit more support for the game. And who knows, you could raise the profile of the sport there.
Yeah, we've been working hard with the Irish Rugby League Federation there, and one of the things that we're working at as well with the Tourism Ireland is the Legacy Project as well. Both our foundations and now Hull and St Helens foundations will be on the ground in Dublin, getting into the schools and the community clubs, just giving the tasters of rugby league, and who knows where it can take us. A big part of what we want to achieve is growing the brand, but is also getting more people watching and playing rugby league.
Carl, there's a big Irish diaspora in the Northwest, isn't there? And I think rugby league fans generally have proved they're prepared to travel to watch the sport. And your fans and Wigan fans turned out in numbers for the game in Vegas. So I would imagine you can have a lot of a lot of people travelling for it's a Saturday game. Then there's going to be the game on Sunday now with FC and with Saints. So it's going to be a big weekend for rugby league fans, isn't it?
Absolutely. And again, that was one of the reasons why we decided to go and play that second game in Dublin, because of as you mentioned there, the Irish diaspora across our communities. I think we've got 6 players in our first team squad that have represented Ireland. I played myself for Ireland between 2002 and 2010. And you just have to look at all the surnames in Super League, and half the team sheets are made up of Irish descent. So there's no doubt there's going to be a big contingency of supporters, not only from the four clubs that are now participating, but right across Super League. We took 10,000 to Vegas. We had over 80,000 at Everton at the Magic recently, and a fantastic crowd in Paris when Wigan took on Catalan. So, look, as you mentioned, the fans do travel, and it's going to be an incredible experience. And this is just much more than the 80 minutes, as Chris has alluded to. It's the full experience. That's one of the things that we took away from Vegas. Was it wasn't just the 80 minutes; it was the fans' experience, memories created outside of that, the Friday night events, the Thursday night parties, all that kind of, all those kind of activations that's going to be going on. So it's going to be kind of a festival of rugby league from Thursday night, finishing late into Sunday.
Yeah, we're trying to swing it so we can do a show there on the Friday. So we're working on the
You can't
gaffers
fault the
here.
RFL for being proactive and things like the Magic Weekend. They do try and do stuff all the time, don't they?
Yeah, that's good. Just how are we feeling about, Chris, the sort of state of Super League at the moment and the state of the game? We've had all the quite big shake-up, haven't we, in the game and the grading system? How are you feeling about life as a CEO?
Well, listen, it's coming to the exciting part of the season now. We've got about 6 rounds to go and then the playoffs. There's more people been to the games than ever before this year, more people watching the game. We're in a critical period of the broadcast negotiations, which hopefully will be concluding within the next 2 weeks. And we're at the final stages of NRL investment into the game. So there's so much to be positive about at the moment. I think Carl referenced then that we had 80,000 at the Magic Weekend in Everton. It was just a brilliant weekend for the sport and showcased everything what was wonderful about rugby league. And I don't know if you know this, lads, but over the course of the weekend, 151,000 pints of beer was sold at Everton. Wow. And one of the best things about it all is there's no police presence because it's such a welcoming and inviting sport, and it's we do a lot of things right, and as you just mentioned, then the RFL deserve a lot of credit for thinking differently.
Tickets go on sale.
And there's 151 sick notes submitted on that Monday as well.
Well, that's what I think people will do. They'll probably set off Thursday and they'll have Monday off. They'll go back to work Tuesday, I would imagine. Yeah. And you'll probably get what happened in Vegas, where we were talking to Brian Carney about it when he was over there, and you're seeing Hunslet shirts and Featherstone shirts. It's just rugby league fans going for a party, not necessarily fans of the 4 clubs, isn't it?
Well, we've done some pre-registrations with tickets, and some of the heat maps showing where people are buying tickets is incredible. And the particular one on Ireland, all over the country of Ireland, people are registering to come and watch the game. So, it is a popular sport for people to watch on TV, and this is an opportunity for people to come along and and see 2 great games.
Excellent.
Brilliant.
Tickets already on sale, are they, Carl?
So pre-registration's open. Yep. Fan packages are on sale. Members exclusive window opens on Monday for 48 hours. When that closes, or when that time elapses, pre-registration opens for 24 hours, and then general sale on Thursday. I urge everyone to, if you're not a member, please submit your pre-registration, because the interest has been incredible, and we don't want people to miss out. It holds 20,600, and we're aiming to sell that place out.
Brilliant. Good to talk to you both. Well done. Thanks very much.
Thanks, guys.
Pleasure as always, guys.
Carl Fitzpatrick and Chris Redlinski there, the CEOs of Warrington Wolves and Wigan Warriors. It'd be a good weekend.
Yeah, it'd be great.
We did a few shows, didn't we, back in the day in sort of Temple Bar around the Ireland Rugby Internationals with Paddy. Yeah, it was.
And also when we went up to Warrington to do a show.
Yeah, we did.
Watch the game. I loved it.
Yes, it's a great game, and it is getting to the business end. Although, of course, it was a couple of seasons ago I decided through family connections I was going to support St Helens, and I've absolutely bocked them. I have. Could potentially miss the playoffs for the first time ever in Super League. So I do apologise to all Saints fans for cursing you with the. Anyway, clips of the week coming up. Mickey Gray's going to join us to talk Carabao Cup as well. We got a big weekend of Carabao Cup live games around the grounds with Adrian tomorrow as well. So that's all to come.
thoughts on Vinicius Junior? Then Arsenal losing out in that. Were you hopeful or were you doubtful?
Do you know what? I was a little bit in the middle, really. I thought, look, he's a player that would certainly improve Arsenal. There's no doubt about that. He's got so much talent. But also, he's at Real Madrid, like Andy Townsend said. Why would you want to leave Real Madrid, as Andy says? But whether he wanted a different change of lifestyle and whatever, whether he wanted to go to London, I don't know. But I think what he's done, he's played the market, isn't he? So he's gone, right, we know Arsenal are interested. His agent's probably going to Real Madrid. Well, Arsenal, we're thinking about going to Arsenal, and they've panicked a little bit. Probably got an unbelievable deal now, 6-year contract, and he's gone, right, okay, yeah, I'll stay then.
Yeah.
Done. And so he's played both sides really, which a lot of agents do, a lot of players do as well. But I was always 50-50 really. If he comes to the club, great, but if he doesn't, it's not the end of the world.
Absolutely, you move on from it. I mean, it's absolutely dead now. He is staying at Real Madrid for 6 years, as you mentioned. But, you know, how important was that to get that idea that Arsenal were starting to flirt with world-class players, with somebody who would be a marquee signing?
You've got to do that. You've got to do that.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, no, you've got to do that.
They've done it. The champions got a final. You know, why wouldn't you?
And the club's in a really good position at the moment with finances and whatever. I mean, Josh Kroenke's really stepped it up another level really now and he trusts the manager Arteta to say, right, you know, we're going to really go with him and see what he needs.
Clips of the week on talkSPORT with Toolstation. Only got time for one stop? First stop, Toolstation.
Yes, clips of the week are back with our good friends at Toolstation. Of course, the big news on talkSPORT this week was the return of Alan Bernard Brazil to breakfast. It was lovely to see him. We caught him in the office earlier on in fine fettle. As you expect, he hit the ground running. Here he is discussing the big stories around Mo Salah and Newcastle.
Let's start with Salah. talkSPORT understands the Egyptian winger set to sign for Turkish club Trabzonspor. Newcastle are close to appointing. This is is it Yesela?
You what?
Yaisla. I've had so many different pronunciations.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know
Yaisla.
the right one.
Two different stories.
Don't go changing now. We need the clips. What's next?
It's betting expert Dave Stevens talking darts.
The better match is probably Gary Anderson. He's having an amazing Indian summer of his career. He's in brilliant form against Dirk van Duijvenbode. It's 2-5 Gary Anderson, 7-4 the Dutchman who beat Michael van Gerwen with those extra legs.
I suppose it helps with your stance, doesn't it? I suppose it does. It makes you really rooted to the ground, the extra legs. Was it the Dutch guy? Sounded like Stanley Unwin.
Yeah,
one for the teenagers.
It's quite a fascinating name. You only pronounced it. You only wanted to say it once. Did you?
Tony Cascarino on Weekend Breakfast now discussing the Bundesliga.
Schalke have got amazing support. You know, Eintracht Frankfurt, again, amazing travelling fans.
Oh, I see. And that did.
I've not seen Eintracht Frankfurt
I haven't
before.
seen them either.
No.
That did seem to be the mispronounced word of the week, as Gabby Agbonlahor proved with this caller.
Unai's a great manager, but I don't think he's going to change him. He didn't change Sancho. When they're on that much money a week, then, you know, they're not interested, are they?
Yeah,
so, yeah.
I think the hard part, mate.
There we are. It seems to be the word of the week that everybody was getting wrong.
It was really, yeah.
This, quite simply, is Scottish Sun's Bill Leckie turning into a pirate.
Last season, obviously, Maeda is on his way to Ipswich. Would that be a suitable replacement, you think?
Well, they looked at him in January and couldn't get him. They are...
Pieces of 8.
Full parrot on the shoulder job, that was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Time now for the talkSPORT interview of the week between Jeff Stelling and Tony Cottee.
The Gold family selling 25% to Amanda Staveley. Is that good news or not? Will it change anything?
I don't know the answer to that, Jeff.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay.
There we are. That's covered all the ground we needed.
That's right, yeah.
And you know what? I never knew until this week that our own Shabana Hearn speaks Spanish. Did you know that,
No, I
Andy?
didn't know that at all.
Here we go. Actually, not sure she does.
No,
not sure they are the words to La Bamba.
Not really.
It sounded a bit sort of South Pacific Island, didn't it, what she was trying to do there? It was very strange. What's next?
It's some shock news from Alex Crook.
Let's talk Commonwealth Games now, shall we? Because it finished yesterday. Arsenal dominating the medal table. They won 70 golds.
What a season they've had.
Arteta is sensational.
What a coach.
isn't
He
How
never
does
lets
do it?
up. He goes off after winning the title, nearly winning the Champions League, to win 70 golds in the Commonwealth Games. Well done. Well done. And why don't you give us...
That may well have been Australia.
I think it may have been. He's so football crooky.
Oh, yes.
Anyway, give us the next one, Andy.
It's a quick football update from Emma Smith.
Rodri's agent has confirmed he wants to join Barca.
What, Ronnie Barker? Darren Barker? No idea. Anyway, there's no way of dressing this up. Let's end now with a selection of smutty double entendres, which is, we've discovered in the clips of the month, exactly the material you come
Very
here
much
for.
so, yeah.
Kicking off with Andy Goldstein with Troy Deeney.
We've got a busy show. I'm very
You've made
excited.
an effort today.
Pardon?
You've made a bit of an effort.
I was
today.
filming downstairs earlier on.
Dirty boy, Andy. What a thing to do.
I know. And this was Max Scott bringing us a euphemism for the ages.
As well, so in light of that, we're going to be speaking about the EFL as well, what we reckon about this extended playoffs. But more importantly, Andy Townsend's going to be having his Magnum wrapped in a croissant.
Who wouldn't want that?
We'll all be using it, won't we? I tell you, it was like a Magnum wrapped in a croissant. And finally, the piece de resistance. It is Spanish football expert Terry Gibson chatting to us during the World Cup. Good news for anybody who does a La Liga podcast on a regular basis, much like yourself and John Driscoll, Terry.
Yep, knocked one out this morning as quickly as possible.
Oh, there you go.
Terry sent us a message saying the minute I said it, I knew. I had lots and lots of responses, as did he. Anyway, there's the clips of the week. We should thank Rob Hurley, Glyn Berrington, DJ Ed, Michael Fawcett, Dave Clark, Roger in Durham, Lee Jensen, Matt the Legend from Kingston, Tom Clayton, Adrian Wingate, QPR Norman, Paul Bertram, and Adrian from Durham.
Well done, everybody.
All suggested clips. If you hear a clip on talkSPORT over the next week, would you please send them to us to talksport.com/H&J. You can text them to 81089. You can tweet them to TSH&J. That's TSHANDJ. What we need from you to give us a fighting chance is a day and a time when you heard it go out on talkSPORT, any of our sister stations. Don't forget, the clip of the month for July was from Times Radio. So if you're across all of our fine stations, our sister stations, we'll accept those as well. So a day and a time when you heard it go out so we can listen back. And if it's played like those guys, you'll get a credit. If you want to enjoy some more clips of the week, past and present, we have a Clips of the Week podcast, wherever you get your podcast, and it's available on the talkSPORT app as well, which you should download if you haven't so far, especially with all the live football coming up this season. And the H&J Daily was some of the best bits of this afternoon's show, which included a really interesting chat on a flying visit with Tim Vickery, our South American correspondent. So if you missed the first hour, he covered a lot of ground, was really interesting on FIFA and South America and all the big transfer stories. So that's available, the H&J Daily podcast, again, wherever you get your podcast, or on the talkSPORT app.
I used to say the Edinburgh Fringe is in full.
It gets underway today, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, it gets underway there, but it's in full swing, really. It's already people have got their shows and they go out there.
Yeah.
And I often when I used to go to the Edinburgh Fringe, I often got asked, I said, what's good to go and see? And I noticed, because it popped up on my Facebook, Mervyn Stutter.
Yes.
This is his 33rd year.
Yeah.
And if you want to start your day in Edinburgh, this is the best thing. He has 5 minutes of different shows. So you have 5 minutes for a comedian, 5 minutes for a juggler, 5 minutes,
Yeah.
Come and do their showcase. It lasts for 90 minutes. You get a good idea of what things you might not have seen or wanted to see. And it's really a great way to start, usually 1 o'clock, 1:30, that sort of thing. Well worth it.
I Sky News presenter was up there today. I heard her say that if you saw a show, if you saw 10 shows a day and you stayed for the entire thing, you'd only see about 10% of the
it's
shows.
about 3,500. So that's it.
You're never going to see them all.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, well, I'm sure we'll be chatting to people up there, football-loving comedians and beyond, over the next month. But we'll be chatting to Mickey Gray next, because he's part of our top team, bringing you all the Carabao Cup action this weekend. We get underway this evening with Borough versus Wrexham, and we'll talk about that and some of the other big games of the weekend, the significance of this as well, with the former Sunderland defender and our man in the Northwest. We're here, as always, with Tool Station. If you've only got time for one stop, first stop, Tool Station. They were your Clips of the Week.
Clips of the Week on talkSPORT with Tool Station. Only got time for one stop? First stop, Tool Station.
Smoke without fire, of course not. He is interested in the Arsenal project.
Arsenal
if he's to leave Real Madrid.
Arsenal going for Vinny Jr. is like me sending Rihanna a message on Instagram saying that I'd love you to come to the Bullring in Birmingham. I want to take you around Birmingham on a date. Like, it's not going to happen. Like, he's not leaving Real Madrid to come to Arsenal, one league title in over 20 years, can't win a Champions League in their whole existence. He's not going to come to Arsenal. He's used Arsenal to get an extra 5, 6, 7, 8 million pound a year, and he's going to sign a new contract at Arsenal. I mean, sign a new contract at Real Madrid. Simple. What he's doing. Arsenal have been used.
Did you ever shoot your shot with Rihanna though? Did you ever DM?
I might have. Yeah, I might have. That's private business. I might have.
But the point is, we know that Arsenal have made a go at Vinicius Jr. So they've tried.
And maybe I tried, and it didn't work out.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, but it's not going to work out. It's not going to work out for Arsenal, is it?
You make me cringe.
No, one league title in over 20 years. Never won the Champions League. Can't sit at the big table of the Champions League winning clubs like Villa, Nottingham Forest, Celtic. And you think you're going to go and sign Vinny Jr., the fan base that Vinny Jr.'s got in South America because he plays for Real Madrid.
It's not.
Rodri's doing everything he can probably to get out of Manchester City to go to Real Madrid. Haaland will go to Real Madrid at some point in his career.
It's not dead yet.
Just got to love the Carabao Cup. Early rounds, you are guaranteed drama.
Ball in right footed efforts in. It's Middlesbrough that take the lead. And Smith has scored! Welcome to Wrexham! It's one of the classic Carabao Cup ties. It's down by Soucek, poked in by Bowen. It's 1-0 West Ham United. Crossed in by Bishop. It's 2-0 to Pompey.
The Carabao Cup delivering yet again on talkSPORT.
Colchester won, and he's lashed it into the back of the...
Is Azaz! Oh! Ben Azaz! For Southampton! What a breathless, fantastic advert for Carabao Cup football. Evans! Mansfield Town back on level terms. Bamford again! Second goal for Patrick Bamford. Second goal for Sheffield United. All the drama of the Carabao Cup live on talkSPORT.
Yeah, you often get some cracking games in the Carabao Cup. It does generally get won and contested by Champions League teams. You've got to go back a fair old way from the last team outside the top division to win it. But everybody has to dream, of course. What we need, I mean, now Pep's gone, maybe Maresca won't take it so seriously.
That's possible.
He'd always put out a strong side, wouldn't he?
The other attraction is when you draw, when you get through this preliminary round, then you start to draw the Premier League teams, and then if you get further, even better.
Well, because of some big sides being relegated last year, there are some decent names in the hat. We're going to kick off our commentaries this evening with Borough versus Wrexham. Very exciting fixture for all sorts of reasons. Part of our team bringing you all this Carabao Cup action this weekend is the former Sunderland defender, Mickey Gray. Hi, Mickey.
Paul, Andy, how are you doing?
Good, thank you. Yes,
Good.
as I said, Pep took it far too seriously for most people's liking. This we need Enzo to sort of throw it away a bit.
You won't.
Yeah, and I give somebody else a chance to win it. I think that would be a nice thing, wouldn't it? But wasn't it great though? I think normally, you know, maybe a foreign manager coming to the Premier League might just look at winning the big trophies, but Pep Guardiola certainly did take it serious. I mean, was it 3 or 4 years in a row they won a consecutive, and everybody started to take it a little bit more serious then. And why not? Why wouldn't you? It's a great competition to win. You win it mid-season as well. It only gives you a bit of momentum and a bit of confidence. So I expect the big guns to go for it again this year, but I think we're in that round at the moment where we're hoping for those big upsets, and some side from the lower leagues gets a nice little run in this tournament will be brilliant.
That usually does happen. And then, was it Bristol City that lost last night?
Bristol, wasn't it? Was it Bristol Rovers, wasn't it? Or am I going absolutely nuts? It lost to Walsall, didn't they? I mean, I should check that really, if I get all my facts wrong. Anyway, Mickey might be able to tell us. I don't know. Let's move on. Let's move on to tonight's game. We'll come back to that. Borough versus Wrexham. Again, a glamorous game because of all the Hollywood connections of Wrexham, and Borough, you know, coming so close last season to coming up to the Premier League.
Yeah, it's a cracker, I have to say, Paul. I mean, Middlesbrough seem to be in the market trying to bring in fresh faces to get them jumped up into that Premier League this season if they possibly can. So it'll be interesting to see what 11 they actually put out. They've obviously lost players as well. In Hackney, probably their best player going to Everton. Wrexham have had an interesting pre-season when you think about all the travelling they've done over in America. They've played some really big sides as well, one being Man United, and I think Sunderland as well might be another game that they played as well. And they want to be successful if they possibly can. They want to go to that next level. I think we've all obviously jumped onto the story of the ownership and the club and where it's heading and the direction. And this is only going to put them on the map a little bit further if they can get a nice result against Middlesbrough and have a wonderful run in the Carabao Cup.
Yeah. It was Bristol City only, so of course it was in Championship side beaten, so a bit embarrassing from them against Walsall last night. So, it's a chance to see a few new players. I don't know if Will Lancashire, who's gone from Spurs to Borough, is going to feature. You see, Ashley Phillips looks like he's going to follow the same path.
They've got a bit of money to spend, haven't they? Now they've got this old Hackney.
That's right, they have. I think Lancashire did really well for us. I'm sorry to see him go in some ways. I mean, the old pathway was going to be restricted from his point of view, but I think he'll do well. He did well at Oxford, and I think he'll do well for Borough.
Yeah, I've seen him play about 2 or 3 times last season, Paul, and he's very direct, I have to say. And I think only, alongside him, he's going to have better players as well, and it's only going to enhance him as a player. I understand what you're saying. You know, you want to try and see those younger players kind of nurtured into the first team. At Tottenham, unfortunately, it's not happened for them. And he's been given another opportunity. Now, obviously, they've seen enough at Oxford to give him that chance and maybe playing with the greatest respect for a bigger club. And they'll be expecting goals. There's no question of that. And I think Middlesbrough last season, they struggled in front of goal. They had some periods where they weren't putting the ball in the back of the net and was probably their downfall at the end of the season. And obviously they're coming up against Wrexham. I mean, they've got experienced players. They've got players that we know have got experience of playing in the Premier League as well. And I think you look at Phil Parkinson's side there. They've got that huge momentum. I think priority, I have to admit, I think priority for these two clubs will be getting promotion. But there's no reason why they can't go on a nice little run. As I mentioned before, just give them that little bit of confidence halfway through the season.
It's also a bit of that moment when you've gone down, especially for West Ham. It's been a while since they've been in the Championship. So, yeah, not in Kansas
Bit of a
anymore.
shock, yeah.
Having a play on the 8th of August against Pompey in the first round. The other thing I think that maybe Southampton fans, players and coaching staff are going to have to get used to is being booed wherever they go. And it's Colchester first up. Their fans get the first hit.
Yeah, well, two good games that you just mentioned there. I mean, I think everybody's kind of expecting something from West Ham. I think they're probably going to go down as favourites in the Championship. That's going to be an interesting game. I mean, I've written a few down myself. Wolves v Port Vale is an interesting one, which is happening tomorrow. And the Middlesbrough Wrexham one you mentioned. Derby v Lincoln is an interesting game. Looking forward to that one as well. And also I've got written down, Paul, I've got Leicester against Northampton. I mean, we've all seen what's happened to Leicester over the last couple of seasons. What kind of Leicester are you going to get as well? I think this is why it's nice, the early stages, that either League Two sides get to play against Championship sides and maybe even sides who've just been relegated from the Premier League as well. So I think it's going to be mouth-watering tomorrow. It feels like we haven't had much of a break because of the World Cup.
No.
I'm pleased it's back. Obviously, everybody's looking forward to the Premier League and the Championship starting, but I think the Carabao Cup starting early is great.
I saw someone getting very excited about the fact that West Ham v Millwall in the league, in the Championship, will be live on free-to-air television.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. I think that'd be about an 8 o'clock in the morning kickoff. We could be like breakfast telly. Of course not. So you're going to be with Adrian and Ben Mee tomorrow, aren't you, for Game Day Live, Mickey?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm at Burnley, Notts County tomorrow. Myself and John Dunn, we're heading down to Turf Moor. And there's another club. I mean, Burnley, changing manager as well. I mean, players have left, players have come through the door as well. So that's going to be an interesting one. I was just having a look, Paul, silly little stats, isn't it? They've been promoted and relegated over the last 5 seasons, 2 and 3 times respectively. So you don't know what you're going to get from Burnley. I mean, they get it right until they seem to jump into the Premier League. So it might suit them again this season to start winning a few football matches. They only won 4 games in the Premier League last season. So I think they need to put a few smiles on people's faces, and they'll be trying to do that against Notts County, who won't make it easy for them.
It was interesting there, wasn't it? Because when they were a company, then they played this sort of very attractive football, but it didn't work in the Premier League. Then under Scott Parker, they were defensive, but that didn't work when they came.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what they get next.
Some kind of balance of the two, maybe.
Yeah.
Look, there's no disgrace in being a yo-yo club. You make an awful lot of money from it. So, Mickey,
right.
We have a good weekend. Enjoy it tomorrow. Thanks very much.
Thanks, fellas.
Borough Wrexham kicks us off tonight. Ollie Klink is your host. Mark Wilson and Steve Howie, former Newcastle defender, are your commentary team for that one at the Riverside. I said around the grounds from 1 o'clock tomorrow. Over on talkSPORT 2, West Ham Pompey. That Colchester Saints game is at 5:30. Sunday, Mansfield, Sheffield United. So, yeah, all the Carabao Cup action is covered for you this weekend. Thanks for your company this afternoon. We'll be back on Monday to pour over all of that and more. Hopefully, we might have a new person in charge of FIFA, but don't hold your breath.
That's not going to happen.
Coming up next, it's Rory Jennings and Gabby Agbonlahor with Drive. Have a good weekend.
Barcelona are now leading the race to sign Rodri from Manchester City, notwithstanding the loss that would be to City in a new era under Enzo Maresca. What's the latest on that? And is it the case that Real Madrid have dropped the ball here? Because it seemed to be, reading reports, that Real Madrid were in the driving seat with this one.
Yeah, Rodri wanted Real Madrid earlier in the window, and Florentino Perez hadn't decided what kind of midfielder he was going for, which is why several names were linked, including Enzo Fernandez, and Real had to issue a statement saying we've had no contact with Enzo Fernandez. Jose Mourinho came in. Finally, they got the mandate from Perez to start negotiating financially, but Barca have basically hijacked this, although some sources say Barca were there even before the window opened, and it was Real that kind of steamrolled in. And ultimately, Rodri, for family reasons, wants to go to Spain, but we've got a fascinating scenario now. Man City want to keep. Pep Guardiola never used to stand in players' ways, especially senior ones that had been long-serving and loyal to the club. But Enzo Maresca's new, and of course, if it's his say, he'll go to his board and say, keep him. If he doesn't renew, we'll let him leave on a free transfer in 2027. And now Barca are going to accelerate and bid, and they have full player buy-in. So Rodri wants Barca